Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks. We are live at the Winter Derby, the finals between Pencho and Rob. And Pencho is from the Czech Republic, and Rob, I believe, is from Canada. And I'm joined today by Svante. Svante, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you, man. I need your expert advice. Let's maybe just dive into the deck straight away. It's going to be a best of five, right?
Yep.
And I have here the deck of Pencho. Maybe that's a good deck to start with. What
Yeah.
are, what are, what are we
It's
looking at?
we're looking at five color mid range deck, but it's really mostly blue white mid range with some splashes. One could say. So it has seven big creatures, three Suchis, two Sarah Angels, and two Urnham Djinns. And then it has the sort of expected array of power cards and four counter spells, four Swords of Plowshares, three disenchants, and
Yeah,
then
and
splash for some other stuff.
yeah, the two spirit links are quite interesting, huh?
Yeah, so some of the more spicy things, besides like the splash or semi splash for a couple of Urnhams, is that it plays two main deck Spirit Link and two main deck Sylvan Library, which is obviously a combo, right? So if you can get Spirit Link
Yeah,
on one of your big guys and attack and gain life and then pay life for Sylvan. And also if somebody swords your big guys, then you can draw cards with Sylvan.
it's kind of a very
It's
elaborate gem tone because he's not playing with gem
yeah,
tones.
exactly. Yeah, so it's faster and also like obviously Spirit Link is a sort of removal to stay alive against the surrender or something also. So
Of course, yeah, it's
it's
one of those
interesting.
cards.
Yeah,
One of those cards you can use offensively and defensively. It's really
yeah,
really nice. Let's
in
take a
this way.
look at the deck of Rob, the opponent today, and we also see kind of the same colors, right?
Yeah, so it's very similar. It's also blue-white mid-range deck in a way, but this is a little bit lower to the ground. It's actually, I mean, it plays the same lineup of defensive cards in swords and disenchants and counterspells, but it splashes a lot less. It only splashes the black for Mind Twist and Demonic Tutor, and the creature suite is much lower to the ground with Savannah Lions, four Serendips, and two Serangels. So
This is a bit
this is very very close to the classic Lauter deck,
exactly. That's what I
which
wanted to say.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah yeah. So it's like I try to figure out, but like the differences are one of the big differences is that Rob plays four City of Brass, even though there's just two cards which are not blue and white. But that sort of solves the mana issues of the Lauter deck, which is it usually plays so few of them of the color sources, and this sort of solves that a little bit. Like it doesn't play only like nine white anymore for all those white spells and so on. It is dangerous against an
Right.
aggressive deck, but this is
Exactly.
not the
Like it
matchup
is
for it.
risky.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
and
that's
also like
actually good for Rob.
yeah, yeah, but also like this is not a very aggressive matchup. So I think it's going to be good. And also that means that his sideboard sit in a bottle is quite a bit worse, which Lauder usually likes. And this is also a little bit more defensive. Like it plays, I believe, like one more mana source or something. And it also plays a main deck Spirit Link even here. So we both see Spirit Link in both of the decks. So there is like one Spirit Link and one Control Magic in the main, whereas Lauder usually plays combination of Power Sinks and Psionic Blasts in the main. But besides that, it's like one of those classic low to the ground blue white mid range decks. So we see sort of
Yeah.
a
So
semi mirror, whereas one is a little bit more greedy and more higher curve, and the other one is more aggressive here. So I think it's going to be fun.
very close matches probably. I saw Pencho's semifinal. We streamed that as well, and it went all the way up to game five. So kind of hoping for the same. That was a very tense match.
Yeah, I think so. Like all of these reactive cards with the swords and counterspells and disenchants means that there's going to be a lot of back and forth. They can stop each other for doing broken things, so it's going to be like the choices matter more, I think, in that way. So it's going to be fun.
I mean, Rob could go ooh lower here.
Yeah,
That obviously can be big.
of
How much
course. I mean,
land destruction does Pencho play? Is it just a strip and the Chaos Orb?
yeah, none of them play any other land destruction. I think not even the sideboard Armageddon, which is something I like in these kind of decks.
Yeah, that's funny
So
because
yeah,
I always I always say, not that that matters what I say, but try to have four answers to a land. But here are two players that made it all the way to the finals, right? Because 200
Yeah,
people were in this online tournament, right? So
of course, yeah. Yeah, I really like Armageddon when you play a bunch of creatures in a kind of a mid-range deck, or especially with Serendips and stuff, because of opposing Maze of it. Just being able to board it in against the Maze deck, otherwise you could just be turned off by that. And I think like Pencho plays one main deck Maze, but that's oh yeah, one main and one in the side. So that's something that's quite good against the Serendivs, and there's no real answer for it. But besides that, I think that the blue-white decks just have to rely on having Strip Mine, Chaos Orb, and Demonic Tutor as the answers to library, and just losing to library a bunch. I mean, that's usually what can happen anyway.
yeah, because it already seems that Rob is taking a lot of advantage, of course, having that time walk. Oh, the time walk got countered. No, this got countered. Oh, mana drain on the Chaos Orb. There we go.
Right.
Are we gonna see? Oh, of course, he's got the extra mana, casting the Sarah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're Pencho, right, you just want to put as much pressure on Rob as you can.
That's basically what you have to do against the library, right? So you have to try to be aggressive, and like a quick angel is one of the few ways that Pencho actually can do that. But then again, there are so many swords here. To just
Yeah, and of
it's
course,
very hard to try to be aggressive in this kind of matchup, because both of them have so many answers to the threats, which is means that the guy starting with the library, in this case Rob, is hugely advantaged.
I often thought that what if the Swords of Plowshares wouldn't exile a creature, but just put it in the graveyard? I mean, that would make such a big difference. Here we see a
Do you
tutor.
think so? I don't think it matters that much.
No, I think animate that would be better. For example,
That's true. I mean, that would certainly be better, but
resurrection.
mostly I think it would be better like in the sword stacks, because now
Ah,
you don't
yeah.
really want to play those in the same deck. But if you could just destroy with that instead, I think that swords like animated would be better in the white decks. But I think it's still kind of marginal.
Yeah,
It's not really why what matters.
it's still an insanely good card. I mean, one white instant speed creature gone.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the most
killing
important thing.
anything.
I'm gonna ask you the boring question here. What do you think is gonna tutor for?
How many cards does he have again? Does he have 6 plus the card he tutors for, or 5 plus
Oh,
that?
we just
I
cannot
mean, like,
see if he puts his hands away.
I mean, even when you have active library, I think. Oh, okay, weird. He's gonna go do something. Okay, he really
Um,
wants to have
counter
counters
magic.
counterspell up, yeah, in case something really horrible happens, because he's on 6 here. So he's gonna, if he doesn't have to play anything, he can be on library next turn. But now he can like counterspell a mind twist or balance, and still just be one turn away from reactivating reactivating that library again. So I guess it's something.
He's just playing uber safe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, another way would be to tutor for a counterspell here, so you have it up next turn in case he would not have it in hand right now. But like if he had a counterspell, I think no, I don't know. Like you could let
So
the Sarah live and wait for it. But okay, here's a Suchi.
exactly. You could have done that as well. Yeah, yeah, exactly. This
Yeah,
is a Suchi, so no
like not
need
tap
to.
out, but it maybe doesn't have another blue or white, so you want to wait, because like Pencho also plays a lot of counterspells, so there is that.
And I think
Well,
that's
I mean
also
the
the problem,
go
right,
ahead.
for Penjo, because he wants to put pressure on the Rob, so he's going to play out a lot of creatures without counter backup because he doesn't have the luxury to wait. But that's really
Yeah,
nice
but
for Rob because then every time he can just answer without worrying about a counter
yeah,
spell.
and also like this is the second creature out of the 7 he plays, so there's a lot of
Ah, true. Yeah.
there's a large probability there that there just isn't another one in Punjab's hand. So
I always
yeah,
feel
we'll
that
see. But this is slipping away.
Suchi gets killed so quickly.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Suchi isn't great against the disenchant decks,
yeah, and
I
then they
would say.
start boarding in their divine offerings, and you give them life. I mean,
Doesn't matter so much in the kind of mid-range deck the Pencho does that doesn't play bolts and so on, but
yeah.
it is it's really hard to get ahead with Suchi in this kind of matchups.
Let's see what he's
No,
gonna
I think
do.
that this is yeah, yeah.
So the first two games were without sideboard, and then they start
Yes,
boarding
that's correct.
boarding
Yeah.
cards in.
And 3 games. Up to 3 games with the side. So
And we have
it seems that
70.
Rob is calculating mana here.
Uh-oh.
So he's planning for something bigger than just killing the Suchi. I mean, if he has something like Mind Twist, it's probably better to just cast the Mind Twist and let the Suchi live, return, and then than just run Pencho over with card advantage. But
Yeah, right. I mean, he's on 20.
maybe
You
there's something
take him for
else.
4.
Yeah, he's on 20 still, so there's. Huh. Okay. Maybe he's just casting Sarah himself.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. It looks like he wants to sack that Lotus.
Yeah, so that means like Mind Twist or Sarah or.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Means he doesn't have a disenchant or swords, I guess.
Yeah, could be the case, of course. And then he's probably just gonna take the 4, drop to 16, take a damage, but at least put some pressure back.
Yeah, but that's not really optimal here, is it?
No, it's not what you want, right? But considering he's using the Lotus for this,
Yeah.
would you here maybe
It's
have
sort of
waited?
weird. Sorry.
Would you have waited cracking the Lotus if this was your option?
I
Ooh,
mean, it
there's a low
feels
up from
like you should,
Pencho.
but I don't think he has 7 cards. There's no
No,
way he does.
nearly.
He has
No.
placement. Yeah. But the weird thing is cracking the Lotus instead of just playing the lands and having the Lotus up here.
True. You would almost think, but that would, I think, be a bad decision to double block here.
No, that's so bad against any kind of removal, including disenchant, which is otherwise bad against Rob. He
Yeah,
can't do
exactly.
that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find why would he crack the Lotus? Exactly as you say, it would make more sense to get out,
Yeah,
keep the
I think
Lotus
so.
there.
I mean, he can still have the counterspell up, which we assume he has. Sure, he
So
wants the swords now, but
this
why
is
does
end
the
step,
swords
right?
now? Yeah, I guess so. But why does he do it now? Why didn't he do it in his main phase when
In
Pencho
his
was
own
tapped
turn.
out?
Yeah.
He obviously has counterspell up, and that is the thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, some interesting choices, interesting
I
sequences.
mean, he could have, in that way, he could have. Let's assume he has counterspell up and wants to have that. You could still have swords it and not cast the dib.
Exactly, because then you still have that Lotus, yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it's kind of aggressive use of the Lotus, but he's winning anyway, right?
That's probably his thought,
With the
right?
library, and he's missing land drops, so he just probably just wanted to get something out there. But it felt a little bit odd to me.
That's a nice thing when you have an active Loa, right? You don't have to. It's really let Pencho try to fix it, and you
Yeah,
can respond,
exactly.
right?
So I have this theory about what you should do, like when you should break the Loa, when you should go down under it, and the answer
Maybe.
is
Sorry,
never.
yeah. Tell me. Never. Okay.
I mean, if you're ever unsure, you shouldn't do it.
I really
Sure, there are
thought.
cases where you have to, and there are cases
Mhm.
where it's correct to do it. But if you're unsure, just don't, and then you win.
Okay, that's good advice. Because I got a Lotus this no last year because we're already in 2024, so it's
Mm-hmm,
recently
mm-hmm.
new for me to play with it.
Okay,
And
okay,
what I love
yeah.
to do is what I thought Rob was doing. Just keep it there, and you can always counter, even if you. There's always this threat that
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
crack it for a counterspell, and that's it.
yeah.
And that's also why I thought, like you, that he was going to use it for a mind twist, because
Mm-hmm.
that way he could
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
his two blue open to counter. Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, the library is better in the very cheap decks. Like sometimes when you have a mid-range deck, you have to go off library just to unload your hand instead because it's not enough to to play out your late game, especially against an aggro deck. Whereas like in an aggro deck, which I like to play with the bolts and so on, then it's so easy to just never go off Lotus or go off Loa because
Right,
you can still
you keep
always
having
unload your
gas,
hand when you
gas,
need to.
gas. Yeah,
Yeah,
also.
you can always like play 2 spells anyway. But in
I've,
general, like
I've had
yeah,
it a few
just
times
keep on.
against those aggro decks that they start to, I think they start to offload, and I'm like, why are they doing that? And then they have an ancestral recall, so they,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
they play a
There is
double
that, of
spell
course.
too
Yeah,
late to compensate. Yeah,
yeah. Or like sometimes unload and then go back to draw 7 or something.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that feels bad because there's always this moment of hope where like, oh, maybe he's making a mistake or whatever, and then yeah, there's no
Yeah,
reason.
actually, like playing ATOG, one of the best things about playing with Black Vice was that the opposing Loa is not as good anymore. So you actually had more of a plan there.
Yes, yeah. Same thing goes a
Yeah.
little bit for Underworld Dreams. Not as good as a Vice, of
Yep,
course,
yep,
but
for sure. I haven't played that very much, but I see the point.
here we see a second factory, and there was a hit with the
Yeah, and I'll
lion.
probably dip. So this is academic from this point. I mean, Rob presumably has a counterspell because the only way Pencho could get back in the game is a balance. And even if he has a balance, he's looking down factor disadvantage. So we this is over.
Because yeah, it's, I mean, if you're Pencho, right, you're just gonna hope for that one balance, right, as the out. And
Like balance with counter backup could be a thing, I guess, but I don't know.
he's probably gonna swing in here with the surrender and one factory. Unless, of course, he's got, okay, there's another factory, so he can
He's
go
got
with
another
both.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe he's got a disenchant or a swords in hand and he can just swing in with everything.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So ahead on resources so that nothing really matters.
What a nice place to be in the finals of the Winter Derby.
Yeah.
That's so good. I don't even have to think about what I do because I've got so many cards in my hand.
But it's only the first game out of 5 though. So
Absolutely.
everything can happen.
Yeah. And yeah, I've talked about this before, but I start playing slower when I have a Loa for 2 reasons. The obvious reasons is you usually have more cards or more decisions to make, but also
Uh-huh.
you feel like I have to win this now because I've got this active Loa. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of easy actually to misplay when you're ahead. When you're very much ahead, it can be the case that you just undervalue something.
Yeah, and then yeah, you make a wrong decision.
Yeah.
When you're with your back against the wall, you kind of have this. Okay, I've got one plan that might work, and that's it.
Right, right, right.
So Pencho just passing again. He's on
Yeah, I
18.
think this is not very much happening here.
Yeah, counts his cards. I guess 8. Gonna draw into card number 9.
Uh-huh.
Gonna take a hit from the
Yeah,
surrendered.
it's so many resources ahead, just putting up all these creatures there.
I guess Pencho is on 23 because we have. You see, the black dice is on 18.
Right.
The phone shows something else. We'll see.
Okay. Does that mean that Pencho's life is the other way around, isn't it? Because he's using the
Yeah,
life on.
I think Rob is on 17 because he just changed the red dice. I think that's his life.
Right. So I think maybe Pencho is not keeping track of Rob's life very well, but it doesn't really matter in this case. I mean, you could be
No,
missing
I
like
agree.
some surrender hits, but
Let's see what he's going to attack with. I mean, he does have to pay a mana each to activate those Mishra's factories, so
that is true.
probably going to be a bit more conservative then. Maybe just
Something
attack
like
with one or
two of
animate
them,
two.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his thinking I was talking about. He's like, I have to win
Yeah.
this now. And
But it's gonna do it.
recalculating.
So yeah.
That's nice when you just play a lot of bolts. You just go bolt to the face, pass.
Right.
There he goes.
That.
And then the question is, are we going to see an animate by Pencho? He kind of has to.
Yes,
Although,
yeah.
there he goes. So we're expecting a disenchant here, right? Or swords.
Disenchant probably. But if Pencho has a counterspell, then he probably gets to eat something, because I don't think Rob wants to counterspell back, but it still means that he will. Okay, sure, it eats one of them, but it still gets in for 7 and has 4 more creatures to go.
Yeah, and because you're drawing an extra card anyway.
So Rob is letting him block.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay. So that sort of means that it's a semi-bluff attack, I guess.
Yeah, so taking 7. Yeah, so he's on 11. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because
Yep.
Rob has the red dice, and you see Pencho is tracking the life with the mobile phone.
And Pencho, no, the problem, yeah, because Pencho is
Yeah.
not tracking Rob's life correctly.
Exactly. So
it doesn't really matter now.
Yeah, so he's on 11, just to clarify. Pencho's on 11.
And
So
Rob
maybe-
is discarding balance to hand size here.
So
Presumably he has 2 counterspells up now, right?
maybe Pencho has 2 more turns if he's lucky.
Yep.
I'm passing the turn of, I believe, 6 in hand. So next turn.
Yeah, so he's drawing up to his library, but it's a little bit too late for that, I think. Okay, so now they're actually fixing the life. Yeah. Yep. 16 to 11. Rob draws to 9 initial draw step.
So many cards.
Yeah.
It's like he's counting dollar bills, you know, like flap, 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 flap.
Now he's actually checking with that as well. Seems like.
Right, so then he swings in for 9. He would go to 2. But
Well, Pencho still has that factory though.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the time where he actually goes off library, or is it just for mana instead?
Would make, yeah. I mean, he could. I mean, if you're Rob, you really want to kill Pencho now, right?
I mean, he's not in a hurry.
There you go. So for 9 into the red zone. Do you think Rob's just again just gonna trade? Or actually not trade, but just gonna sacrifice a creature for some damage?
I mean, that could be a thing, because he still gets in for 7. So just 2 turns, like lethal next turn, or 2 turns with just a dib.
He's keeping us waiting. Tension, tension. Yeah, and I think he's just gonna take it.
Huh. I eat another one, going for 7, down to 4. Yeah, so the thing is, Pencho also doesn't have that much mana, so it's hard for him to play something, say a Sarah or something, to block and keep mana up for counterspell and so on.
Yeah, true. So still the balance with counter backup is his best shot.
Feels like Rob has 2. Let's see here. Has 2 counterspells up by this point. Yeah, it's gonna discard City and pass. Okay, so now Pencho is on library, I think, but it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, because then if he
Yeah.
has a land drop, I mean, then he can at least have a land to activate the factory. Like in an ideal world, he would play balance, back it up with counterspell, and then still have a land that he can play out now to activate the factory to block the remaining factory of Rob. In a perfect world, he's probably just gonna die. But
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I think he's just gonna die, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, and of course Pencho taking his time here, always trying to find an out.
Yeah, there's no hurry. There's the. I mean, he could do something weird with time walk and so on. Who knows? It could be. Things can always happen. This is old school.
Some kind of busted move. Would be fun.
Yeah.
Would be cool to see.
It would, yeah. I always like these kind of time walk into draw 7 turns where a lot of things can happen and everything just turns around and so on. But this is not really the deck for it, I think.
Yeah, with these control decks, if you're so far behind, it's difficult.
Yep.
And he's passing the turn now, I guess, because ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Rob can probably just end it because he can now afford to use his counters on his turn because of this is lethal in that case. So just attacking and countering removal or killing factory and stuff like that. Seems like quite likely.
We're gonna see. So I guess, I mean, just attack here, right? What's oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, another factory.
Another factory, I guess. He just wants to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake. Soaring.
Okay.
So now 7 in hand, I guess. Yeah, he's thinking about using his Loa now in the main.
Using the factory seems a little bit weird here, but yeah, doesn't matter.
Right, tapping the factory for the soaring. Yeah, I mean, it does mean that he now has 6 blue, right, for 3 counter spells. I don't know how many he wants.
True, but I think that he could probably afford to tap the library instead of the factory and use the factory for pumping instead.
Yeah, because the library did his work. Yeah, good point. Because then you could have used the soaring to animate.
Right. Or something like that. I don't know.
But drawing cards is so much fun. He's like, I want to draw more cards.
It is, yeah. I mean, why not draw cards?
But now I'm curious, what is he going to do? I mean, I assume just animate, right? Use soaring, animate, go.
Yeah. But as I said, like, it's not easy to play when you're very much ahead, because then you can start thinking about any possible way you could lose this. Like, if Pencho could just put together his choice of 7 cards, is there something he could have? Could he in some way do this? Probably not.
Well, we're going to find out if Pencho has something.
Yep.
He is, okay, animating.
Activate this.
This was foreseen, I'm sure.
Yeah. Probably going to be disenchanted this time then, finally.
There's the this. Are we going to see a counter spell?
Now we're going to see disenchant.
He uses the mana from the factory.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even need the damage, right?
Right, you can just let that one resolve and then counter the swords now.
Oh, there's the swords, yeah. As you said, there's a
counter spell. And if there is another swords, yeah, okay, so it's just 3 counter spells. Yeah. I mean, there was a possibility that Rob didn't have that many counter spells. You never know, right? You could have a handful of other things, but it's this was over. This was over like 12 turns ago.
Right, and I've seen Rob play a few times, and he's super like he plays it super safe, so that's good. I mean, he does the right thing.
Right, yeah.
But he's
a little bit less exciting for us, but sure.
Yeah, exactly. But that makes you win games, of course. You know.
Yep. That's why we're in the finals.
Could this also have happened to Pencho? Kind of the same situation. If Pencho would have drawn into the Loa turn 1.
Yeah.
Right, then he would have won.
Yeah. I mean, library is something powerful here. That's one of. I mean, sometimes a very aggressive deck can beat an active library without dealing with it in in any way, just by like if the library deck draws too many expensive things or not enough interaction and so on. Sometimes you can actually lose to aggro, but it's not often. Like you need to either kill the library or play Mind Crystal Balance or so.
Yeah, I was just quickly looking at the sideboards, and because I remembered one of the two players has a city in a bottle in the sideboard, and
Yeah,
strangely enough, that is Rob with the city in a bottle, because Rob plays a lot of Arabian Nights himself as well.
I know,
So that's quite interesting.
and it's also only one. If you had
Yeah,
multiples, then maybe it makes sense to board out all the Serendips and one city or maybe two cities. But as it is, it's just one, so he has to cut all the dibs, and still like feels like the dibs are probably better than the city most in the bottle most of the
and
time.
he
So
needs the City of Brasses as well, right, for the mana
yeah,
fixing.
I
So
don't love the bottle here. I'm not sure you should play it. Like it's the best against creature decks in general, but it has so much creature removal. He even has like
yeah,
one main deck control magic and two more control magics in the board. So there's
he
such
doesn't really need it. Yeah,
no, I don't really know why. Sure, it's good against like a Kurdape deck, but I don't know. I don't love it, but
and
it
you
probably
do
makes
have
sense
your
for him.
demonic tutor making your silver bullets a little bit better. But yeah,
It's true. It's
I
true.
agree because it
Yeah.
has such a big impact on his list. There's where I thought maybe for Pencho it would make more sense to play it in the sideboard.
But he plays Urnham Gens as well, and also falls
Yeah,
for City of Brass to make
two
his mana
Urnums.
base
Yeah,
board. So
true.
there's that. So yeah, but I
Is
think the
Urnham that?
sideboard games. Sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, finish the thing about Urnham
Now I
first.
wanted to ask about Urnham because he had this is the only two green cards, right? Is he also playing Regrowth?
No, it has the silver ones, you know.
Oh yeah, of course the Sylvans. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So because
So
I want to
it's
say is
already a little
Urnham.
bit more green.
Yeah, so then it's easier to put Urnham in if you go for the
Yeah,
sideboard.
but I see your point. He could just play another Suchin, another Sarah or something instead of the Urnhams if you wanted to keep it a little bit more blue-white, and that's definitely an option here. Also,
Yeah, so is Urnham that good? I guess for Pencho it is. The 5 toughness can make it difficult to deal with.
it is very good against Side Blast decks. It's much less good against Swords of Plowshares in general, because some of the like blue-red decks have a real hard time dealing with an Urnham because
Yeah,
they
because
only
you
have
can see
bolts.
right, and you can
On
see
Side
some
Blast.
players now making the choice to just take swords out altogether because they're going way more on the aggressive route.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you need
Now
the Timmy. More people should play Timmy. You can do Side Blast and ping him for one. And you can kill the Urnham. It's
That's
perfect.
true. That's true.
Oh,
And now
look
we
at
see the library
Pencho.
from Pencho. So maybe we have the revenge here. Let's see what Rob has. Does he have library? Does he have strip mine? Maybe
I,
not because he's thinking.
I kind of hope so. Although it's also fair if now Pencho has a lower game, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
But,
I hope we don't see very many more lower games, but one from Pencho is totally
exactly.
fair, and I like that.
And then
But
we're
also,
done.
the fact is also that Rob has more of an option to actually aggro Pencho down with this. I think even if this is a lower game and Pencho is hugely favored, Rob still has a shot without killing it, and that's exciting to see. Like Lion into
Yeah,
Serendib, or something, and then maybe Pencho doesn't have the swords for all of them, and then things can happen. I'm excited for that.
that's a good point. And
But
the
Rob,
fact that he's taking so long, so I
yeah,
guess
so
he's
he has
got
something good.
something to think about.
Maybe thinking about small mind twist.
Okay. Going with the lion here. So this is what you said, right? This is perfect. Now we can put a little bit of pressure on.
Wait, we can't draw here. Didn't you draw in end of turn? Okay, yeah, it was me. I missed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because it's step now.
Yeah,
It
okay.
seemed to
So
be
is that a
end of turn,
swords? Okay, swords already. Uh-huh. Yeah.
as to be expected, but you kind of hope that maybe he doesn't have it.
Yep.
But
But
then again, that's
also,
one sword
Rob
less,
has
right?
more expensive things. Okay, tutor here.
Ooh, demonic. So going for strip.
Yeah, so I guess he thought about that on turn one instead to get it through a counter
Instead
spell
of the lion.
potentially in case Pencho had like a Mox or Sapphire or Lotus, but I mean that must have been his alternative, right? Playing the turn one tutor or the lion. I think that was his line there. Oh, this is interesting then. I mean, it's a little bit bad for Pencho, but Sylvan.
It, it makes the game more interesting, and I love the Sylvan play. I'm just curious to
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
Pencho's going to use it.
It's a little bit It would have been more fair if Pencho would have gotten to get there with the library, but okay, no surrender. Rob would have loved a surrender there.
With Sylvan, would you say always take at least one extra card the first time you can use it?
No,
Well,
it depends on the
unless you're on
matchup so much, right?
okay.
I mean, if you play against the deck with Chain Lightning, you never pay any life.
Yeah, true, true, of course. Yeah, I mean, kind of under like normal
Yeah.
circumstances, whatever they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like your point that you probably have to pay life at some point to be able, like, to make Sylvan actually good.
Unless it's, of course, a combo piece, but
Oh, he
whatever.
regrowth
Ooh.
the Sylvan or the library. That is
Yes.
actually good because, like, I mean, Sylvan paying life to get back up to 7 to activate library, that is worth it, right? So that makes it even more interesting to actually pay.
How many cards does he have in hand? Like
Okay,
5? Do you think 5 in hand?
I don't know.
No,
I haven't been keeping track.
no, neither do I.
So
That's why I'm
Rob
asking.
has. Oh, he disenchants Sylvan. Okay. Huh. That makes me think Pencho has less than 6 at least.
I mean,
That
Rob is
was.
putting up a fight. Like he's not accepting the Loa.
Yeah. Should have attacked first, I think. Right? Because Pencho couldn't counterspell anyway. Yeah, Pencho was just waiting on to get up to library.
But he's already on 12, and as you said, Rob's deck is better at putting
Yep.
pressure on. So, if ideally, right, land drop, animate, and a surrender.
Yeah, that would be good, but he doesn't. Yeah, I mean, he could have drawn Dib, but
Yeah, he didn't play
4,
that early
5,
actually.
6. Yeah, so he's 1 card off of this.
Poo poo
Rob
poo.
is down to 4 cards. Is he attacking though? I guess he is. There's no reason not to.
So then you can put Pencho on 10. Oh, he's
I mean,
casting
sure, he
Sarah.
could do something else. Just necessary.
Yeah, but
Pencho
then the chance is
probably
Pencho
he
7 draw an extra swords, right?
I don't know. Like, he only plays 4, right? He doesn't have that many answers to Sarah actually.
Yeah, he's already played 1 sword, so 3 more in the deck. That's true. That's kind of
Yeah,
nice as well
yes.
when your Savannah line eats the swords. It's like, okay.
So strip mine. He has his own creatures, but it's still kind of dangerous. That means that.
Ooh, what's he going to play?
Time Walk.
Chaos.
Orb. Okay. Yeah, that's a card.
Yeah, exactly. You want to
Yeah,
activate
okay.
it now because Rob stepped out. You don't have to worry about a disenchant.
Oh, they do gentleman's flip. I don't like that.
Ah,
You need to flip. Come
man,
on. Let us see the
Svante. This,
flip.
I
Come on.
agree. This is not what we
Ah,
want, people. I think Dave needs to step in here, you know. But it's up to the players, I guess.
I have actually done that myself in the top 8 once, so I shouldn't say so much about it, but I'm not proud of it, and I wouldn't anymore. Okay, so we saw the strip mine on the factory. Rob time walks, try to get something going here. Because Pencho is still on 6 cards.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is really an interesting match. You know, ever since it's all revolving around the Loa.
But I think it's going to be less interesting from here on, because Rob really needs to get something going here. He just burns the time walk basically, and
Yeah, because we see now what
have any threats
6 cards in
anymore.
hand.
Lotus and
Yeah,
nothing
no.
else. Yeah. So this now I think Pencho can just run away with the game, because the thing is he has a very high curve with all his creatures. So if Rob could continue be aggressive, he could punish Pencho. But as soon as he starts playing out his mana and can start playing cards, you can just trade 1 for 1 like forever and winning with the library. But
And here
it's
is
I
where
like the game.
if you're in Rob's shoes, you would have loved to have some more burn, right? Because Pencho is already on 11. But they of course
Yep,
play
yep.
with open deck lists, so they also Pencho also is easier to take a hit from the Sylvan because he knows Rob doesn't have that much
Yes.
burn.
Exactly. Like, imagine if Rob played like 3 Psionic Blast, which he that kind of like easily could have done. Then it would have been so much different with Ceylon, for example.
Yeah. But that's the fun thing about the old school format, right? You keep tweaking and rethinking things and changing.
Yeah, it's so amazing that there's still actually things to develop and tune and make after playing so long with all the same cards and nothing new is coming on. It's
Right?
it's one
Because
of the beautiful things about the format, I think.
you would think it's solved, but it's not. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
of course the meta shifts and it has a huge impact. Yeah, it's very interesting.
it is.
I I,
It is.
I,
It
I
is.
assume you're going to Arvika.
I am indeed going to Arvik this weekend. Unfortunately, no Groningen from me. Would probably have done so otherwise, but yeah, Arvik is going to be fun.
It's a bit unfortunate that both events are in the same weekend,
Yeah,
but that
but
happens.
there are so many good weekends anyway. Like I don't think I would have gone if one of them would have been like shifted 1 week either, because two. Then I could have done it, but it probably wouldn't anyway because they're too close together. So it's
Yeah, you
I
have to
just
make
accept it. I
decisions.
think. Yeah, yeah. Are you going to Groningen?
Yeah. I love how you pronounce Groningen. It's very good. It's a nice G. That's good. The
Thank
G
you.
sound. Ooh, here we see the Urnum. Pencho also, by the way, did an ancestral recall. I'm sure you saw that guy. Insult
Yeah, I
or
mean we're not keeping too much track of that because it's not really mattering that much. It's up like 10 cards
yeah,
or something, but yeah.
insult over
Yeah,
injury, right?
I'm
That's
really
the
looking
saying.
forward to Arvika. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're putting on such a great event these days. The new Arvika location and organization and everything. It's just so smooth, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice. Yes, I'll be playing in Groningen for the World Cup team, so it's new for me that format. So
Ah, cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful format as well. I haven't played teams in quite a while, but it's really good, really much fun. It's so
yeah,
much fun to play team with your friends, right?
absolutely. Yeah, we did a final check today to kind of post your deck photo to see if we didn't do anything illegal.
Right.
And we still
Yeah,
found a
it's
few
easy.
cards in sideboards. We're like, oh, you also have energy flux there. Ah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
always
fun.
good to do
Funny
that
to
final
see with
check.
the weird things which actually overlap that you don't think overlap. I mean, you obviously keep track of the power and the cedar brass and so on, but you can forget something like energy packs
Yeah,
or I
more
think
of the
like we did some weird split with disenchant some year or something. So
Yeah, you also start to think with those cards, the restricted cards. Okay, which ones are better in what deck? You really start to
yeah,
rethink them.
yeah, it's an interesting like just the deck building challenge is it's fun with that. Okay, so now Pencho is ahead on mana, ahead on creatures, ahead on cards. Just a surrender here. He is not ahead on life though, so there's still something to it, but it's long
Hey, and
long
Surrender
it
flies
doesn't.
over, so I
It
mean,
does,
probably gonna die, but maybe it doesn't. And gotta be optimistic,
and
right? When you're in this position.
but also Rob has something else
Spirit
because he
Link,
used the
cool.
yes, Spearlink, yes, but also he used the Lotus again.
I missed that. Yeah, he loves to use the Lotus to play the Surrender.
I
That's,
mean, it
I guess.
saves 1 life here because otherwise he would have to tap 1 city, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess now it makes a little bit more sense.
Uh, I still don't love it. I think.
Ooh, we got a note.
Okay. What does it say? Oh, Forest Walk. Okay. We could imagine it was Forest Walk. Well, Rob is winning this race, especially with the swords, though.
Yes, and the Pencho will go up to 15 if he doesn't counter.
Also true, and he has so many cards. Also, he could just play some more guys, and yeah, he's fine with that. I think doesn't want to waste a counter spell on that.
Yeah, and this is Rob with one card in hand, right? Yeah, just the one.
Yeah. So I think Pencho just plays another guy. Sarah would be perfect, obviously, and I think that was the C.
Ooh, yeah, because he is tapping 5.
Yeah.
There's the angel.
Like a Sarah with counter backup here. The Sarah just trumps everything Rob is doing except his removal and power, and backed up by one counter spell. I think this is over if Pencho doesn't use library anymore anyway. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's already so far ahead in cards. Better board state.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
life are now also so close together, right? 17, 15.
Yep, yep.
So maybe nice to note that the way Spirit Link works is you first take the damage and then you gain the life. So sometimes it's relevant. If you, for example, on 1, right, you take the damage from Serenip and die before you
Yes.
gain the life.
True. True, true.
And also
Yeah,
Spirit Link, if you play 2 Spirit Links, right, you gain double the life.
you do. Yep.
Yeah. Why is that
Doesn't happen
again?
that often, but okay.
No.
Let's see here. Yeah, so Spirit Link is not Life Link is the thing. So we draw here.
Okay, so
Sure,
there's
if the
that,
last card is a balance now, if Pencho chooses not to counterspell,
that would be cool. That
but he
would be
can
cool.
actually just take it here. The safe thing is just take it
Yeah, you don't want to use
because
it
now we
for
have so much
damage.
life, right? So now we can just afford it. Oh, he swords now. Okay.
Ooh, that is risky. That was a
It
risky
was a
move.
counter. I don't know. Like, yeah, this that sort of means he doesn't have the counterspell, right? Because if he wanted to tap out, then he would have countered. I think because the Sarah is so much better.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay,
yeah, that's true. There he goes to untap. I agree. I think he probably doesn't have the counter. Yeah.
that's sort of weird, but sure, it can happen. He has
Yeah,
another sword.
I had it recently where like I was behind. I got all the way back. I could actually win. Then I played a wheel to cut. I needed to be even more lucky than I already was, and I just had a hand
Mm-hmm.
full of crap. But yeah,
Yep.
says a lot about the deck I was playing with as well. By the
I
way.
mean, wheel is always something. Anything can happen with a draw 7. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're passing the turn to your opponent like, oh, I just basically killed myself with this wheel.
Yeah. 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 But it's fun to cast anyway, right? Just spinning the wheel and
Yeah, it's
seeing what
great.
happens.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay, we see Suchi answered by a top deck disenchant.
Are we now going to see a counter spell?
Pencho carries was now. Yep, yep. So I think he drew it. I think
Right? Yeah, or else he would have defended the Sarah for sure.
it feels like that, yeah. Or just waited with the swords. So
And I think he went off the low as you said, it doesn't matter that much anymore.
did he? Maybe he did.
Nah,
In that
we'll
case,
see.
it's a little bit weird, but maybe he did.
Swinging in.
Uh-huh. And
So there,
casting
Rob
another
going.
big things. It's a brain geyser, I guess. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That is mean.
Did he play a land already? Right, so you can't draw into counterspell mana. Okay.
Yeah, because he played his land.
He played a
You're
factory,
right.
right? I think so.
I think you're right. So now he doesn't have counter magic anymore. Or mana up, I
I don't
mean,
know.
for counter magic.
We might be wrong. I don't know.
We'll see.
Or if he already has time.
I guess we were wrong.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
wrong. It's such an easy thing to be wrong about because we don't keep track enough. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's one of the main things I noticed when I started recording my own games is
Mm-hmm.
the amount of mistakes that players, me as included, or players in general make.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of players keep tweaking their deck, and rightfully so. But usually the best way, I don't know if you agree, but the best way to improve the results with your deck is just by becoming a better player yourself.
Yeah, and also like being a better player doesn't mean that you have to be some kind of. You don't have to be like smarter or develop some other kind of analysis a lot of the time. it's just thinking a little bit more about what you do before you do it. I think, yeah, like catching yourself making mistakes
Yeah, learn from
before
your
or
mistakes,
after
basically.
is the
Yeah.
thing. Just thinking things through. Anyway, okay, this is definitely over now. If it wasn't over like 2 or 3 turns ago,
Now it's
the
over,
brain
over.
the brain guys they solved it, but now yeah, we can just yeah.
Yeah, usually with these types of control decks going against each other, right? If you manage to resolve an ancestral recall or a brain
Yeah,
gaze
it's
with
so
just
much
once,
about
it can already be
card.
over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that's why the deck beats these kind of decks because it's so much about card advantage and playing books is better than playing creatures in a way. Something like
Yeah,
Pencho's deck really doesn't want to play against the deck.
and I guess, I mean, I just wonder how many the deck players there were this time. Probably a lot still.
There were
But then,
two in the top 16, right?
oh, only two, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And I guess it's tough for those the deck players to play against those very aggressive
Yeah,
burn decks.
yeah, there were a lot of bolt decks, and bolt
Yeah.
decks are kind of good against the deck.
There we see the Spirit Link again, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, kind of
It's a
factory.
weird graveyard from Pencho. The Sarah and Erden there are removed from the game. They're not
That's
in the
true. They're
game.
not attacking. They could be attacking, but they're not. They're exiled. Yeah,
In a way, it's also
they're
nice because
not.
it's clear for your opponent to see what's in your graveyard
Uh,
and exile
yeah, I
zone
kind of
and
like
those
that.
sort of
I
differences.
usually I put them like that myself. Actually, I don't put them in contact with the rest of the graveyard as Rob does, just because I
Yeah,
don't want them to get mixed in if somebody plays Time Twister or so. But I
yeah,
usually
true.
put them like above and beyond, and not like I would basically put them where he has his wine glass instead.
Oh, yeah, I do it usually more like Rob, but you got a point because it has happened
Hmm.
to me as well,
Yep,
where I
yeah,
put the
yeah. I
time
don't
twister
like that,
in.
but I think
And
that's from before I played old school actually. That I want the zones to be more different because you could get punished for not keeping track of what's exiled and what's in the graveyard and so on. So when I played like sanction formats and so on.
there he goes into the red zone.
Yeah. And if we should nitpick very small things, the Spirit Link is not actually tapped here. We should technically the Spirit Link is not tapped, but
Does that matter? There's a counter spell, by the way, on the disenchant. Counter spell is
doesn't
counter spell.
matter. Go back, and that is gone, and attacking for 8, and
It's gonna take
yeah,
8. Gonna
3.
drop to 3.
Yeah,
Right.
so he can top deck balance and still lose. He's dead on board if he top decks balance. Yeah.
So, but then it's even with the Loa games. We're even with those.
Yes.
Oh, he
So
does top
exactly, he
deck the
did top deck
balance.
that,
Oh, but Pencha still had a counter spell though.
but it doesn't matter because he's dead on board anyway.
No, 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 true, but yeah,
Because Pencho has two factories.
yeah. So he could have killed him with the factories. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. So now they're gonna go into the sideboards.
yeah. I think this is going to be more interesting actually,
What
because
deck
I
would you
don't know
like
what.
to look at first?
Look at Pencho's first.
Okay,
So
let's have a look.
he has a couple of red blasts which are really good. He has a maze which is good, I think. He has a Jame the Tomb which I think I like.
Yeah,
Then he
so
has like
those
another Suchi. I don't know, like maybe not. But definitely like Red Blast and Book.
right. So Red Blast Book Maze. You're talking about 4 cards.
Yes. And because I don't think you want Armageddon because you know you're not facing Maze. And you don't want Wrath of God, I think, because there's not really enough creature for that. I could see the Wrath, but I'm not sure. I think you cut Spirit Links because it's not an aggressive matchup.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry that you're getting burned out. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are at least 2 spots
But
you can
besides that, I'm not
avoid.
sure what you cut actually. Spirit Link is the only clear cut. Mostly everything else is okay. You can maybe like shave Disenchant, but not really because Rob plays 3 control magics post board.
I was thinking the same about counter spells, but they're so good. You can
Yeah,
still
counter
get.
spells are great here.
Yeah, because he
I
has
mean,
to
sure,
control.
they're
Yeah.
better against Pencho than for him, but better there. So Rob has,
Yeah, let's
like
have a
as
look
you
at
said,
Rob.
yeah. So he's like 2 more control magics and 2 Psyblast. I think those are good. He also has a recall, which can be good in very grinder games, as we see, like this can be. But again, it's hard to know what to cut besides the lone Spirit Link, actually. That's always the danger with blue-white, because all the cards are good
Yeah,
all the time. So it's very hard to know what to actually cut.
yeah, you have so many good answers, and if you take those out, and the balance between your threats as well, like you don't want to take out
Yeah,
creatures.
like Disenchant isn't amazing here either, but Pencho does play Suchi, so Disenchant is good there. I can probably see shaving Disenchant though, like cutting 1 or 2, because you have Control Magic and Psyblast as additional Sushi answers in the board.
And could you say, since I'm going to play, let's say, 2 control magics extra, I could also take a creature out because I'm going to steal a creature?
Yeah, that could be a thing. Like cutting a dib because of mazes, maybe even cutting 2 dibs could be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Time Twister is very good here, actually.
I'm a bit surprised that
Dangerous to
recall
give
is not
cards.
main, actually.
Yeah, well, he doesn't draw so many cards, so I
Yeah.
mean he empties his hand a little bit, so it's better. It's good in the grinder matchup, but not so great against aggro, for example. He doesn't draw the cards necessary for that. So I could see something like adding Control Magic, Psyblast, maybe not the recall, cutting like a Decision 2 dibs and the Time Twister or so.
It's interesting,
And
right?
the Spirit Link, of course, yeah.
Could you have this for, could Rob think, okay, if I'm going to put my Psionic Blast in, I'm going to be the more of the aggressive player?
Yeah, he is the more aggressive player all the time, I think. I'm just scared of the mazes, right? Because he doesn't have Armageddon. So
Yeah.
facing two mazes with 4 dibs is not amazing.
It's one of the reasons I like Icy Manipulator. Because it can
That's
also
also
tap,
true.
tap
Yeah.
lands. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah, here, of course, you would then rather go for an Armageddon in this type of deck.
Yeah, but ISO is really, I agree. Like ISO is probably underplayed as a sideboard card, or just played as something to answer maze with in general. Yeah. But I think like just having access to one Geddon in the board is really powerful in these blue white decks in general. As Pencho does. I really like the Pencho has it. So
Yeah, for example, Rob could have taken out that City in a Bottle that we talked about earlier and just add Armageddon in the side.
I think so. Yeah, he does have. I mean, maybe another thing Rob doesn't have is he doesn't have very much against small creatures in general. Say a deck full of Curd Apes, but also like a green deck, like a DFB green or
Yeah,
something. So something there, like he could also play Wrath theoretically. He could play something like Holy Light, or he could play Prodigal Sorcerer,
I
a
guess
card to
against,
you might be
of
familiar with.
course, the Timmy, of course. But
Yeah.
I guess the Spirit Links maybe saves the one Spirit Link maybe saved him in those matchups because it's interesting
Yeah,
because
that's
I'm
true.
sure
That's true.
he played against those decks, right? I mean, there were so
Yeah,
many.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
how many games do you have to play to get all the way to the finals? You've got a you're in the first batch. Is
It's
that
it's,
four
it's of 16,
matches?
so it's like 8 matches. Yeah, it's 8 matches, and it's 12 matches in total. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. And I guess you could
and
lose a match in the first round or in the second
yeah,
round.
you can go 7-1, 7-1 to get in. Both of these were eighth and ninth seed, so I would assume they're 7-1. I could check it into area, but I don't have to now. So they were probably 7-1 and then 1-3. So they're both 10-1 in matches in this
Yeah,
tournament before.
I think Pencho lost against Richard, right? Richard is also in the chat. Maybe you can let us know.
Okay, yeah, I'm not checking the chat here because I don't have the stream up also, because that would be weird for me. But yeah, if anybody said something in the chat, please, you'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've got
so Rob is on the
84
play
people.
here.
Yeah, ooh, Savannah Line.
So Alliance is good. We don't see any mulligans. Rob was on the play. Score is 1-1.
I'm
That's cool.
excited. I want to see
Jet,
I want to see the
Jet
choices they've
City.
made.
Yeah, no libraries. That's good, right?
I'm happy.
Swords. Yeah. It's sort of interesting that I'm not sure it's always the case that you have to swords the lion here out of Rob's deck. Because like in general, I think lions need to be killed if you play red. But like the Rob, because Rob's deck doesn't really play any burn. Okay, sure, he has a couple of sideblasts now probably, but still in general, it could be worth it to just take like 4 hits with a lion than like swordsing the more important things and stabilizing with some big guy instead.
Yeah,
Whereas like against the burn deck, you have to kill the lion right away. But against this
exactly.
kind of
And
thing,
it
yeah,
also feels better to bolt a line. That kind of feels like it makes sense.
yeah, very much so. Um, because it's sure if he has a factory.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
interesting here, eh?
interesting.
Disenchanting the
Uh,
jet. Kind of slowing
so
Pencho down.
if he has a factory, obviously Pencho probably has to kill one of them. But still, in general, that's sort of why I don't love these blue-white lion decks. Either this one with Dibs or the triple S decks with Suchis and Saras and Lion. Just because Lion, oh, Strip Mine. And then attack, of course.
Yeah, going for two.
Yeah,
This was a good moment here
attacking.
for Rob.
Yeah, it was cool. This is cool. Very, very different than the other ones. Now, I just say that I think Lions are much better in the red decks than in the blue-white decks.
And I think like if you're Pencho, right, because your swords is really, as you said, your main answer to creature threat. So if maybe Rob later in the game deploys a
Yep.
bigger threat.
But now he's stuck on
Ooh,
lands here.
yeah, Pencho stuck on
This
land.
is so much behind.
So that disenchant, early disenchant on the jet was also a good decision from Rob. Eh?
Yeah, it's a maybe Pencho should have kept back the marks when he didn't need it because he hadn't used it yet, right?
Yeah, true.
But it's I don't know,
Ooh,
maybe
discarding
not.
here. Ay, 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 ay.
Uh-huh. And now Rob has counterspell up as well.
This is so nice for Rob. Okay, there's the
Mace
mace.
though, that is cool because that is not counterspellable. I usually think Mace is worse than swords, which is like in general is, but in this case, Rob has
Exactly, in
already
this case, the
used
mace
his.
better.
Yeah, he has already used his strip mine, so the mace is actually quite good here to get under the counterspell. Sure, the counterspell is going to be great anyway in some case, but oh,
He
discarding here.
needs he needs
That's
lands.
sad.
Let's
That's
make
a
it into a
Sarah.
game. Yeah, and this is so nice for Rob, right? He doesn't have to worry about
Yeah,
counter magic from Pencho.
yeah, yeah. Oh, strip mine of all the lands. Uh,
He needs a white source.
well, that means that he actually is not taking damage anymore because now we can strip the factor and mace the Sarah,
True.
but it's
Yeah.
but it's not amazing here. Just mace and
If he now attacks it with Factory and Sarah, what he does here, would you say Pencho animates his Factory, tries to block?
no, no, no. It's just gonna die to removal. You need it for mana.
Exactly right. Yeah.
He's gonna mace Sarah and then maybe strip the factory, but in this case he needs that for mana more, so he chooses not to strip. It's sort of hard to say because of what his hand is.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah. Yeah.
discarded Suchis, which is a little bit weird because it feels like there should be things like Urnam or Sarah to discard maybe, but because Suchi feels like the thing he wants to cast once he gets to 4 mana, but
Yeah. This
I don't know.
fireball makes
It's
more sense to
yeah, yeah.
discard for
He,
sure.
he wants to get rid of that, of course. Yeah, and now he has to do it, not to take damage. And waiting the
Done.
cards here.
Come on, get something. It's always nice to
Ah,
see just both players finding their land drops, but it's not meant to be for
yeah,
Pencho, it seems. At
it's a
least,
lot of. I mean, I guess we could argue with the fact that the last few games were lower games, so maybe one should. Okay, this is so weird. Why does it play out the mocks
yeah,
blindly into enchant when he doesn't need it? Sure, he
yeah.
doesn't have a count. He doesn't have the discard, but still feels I don't know. Okay, no. So what I was saying was that the last few games were like arguments for playing with 4 strip mines, so library wasn't so
Mm-hmm.
prevalent. But now this is the kind of game where you know that it's a long game even without four strips. So just imagine four strips here instead of one.
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
you played four strip, Annie?
A few times, a few times. I find that usually one side of the board is completely empty.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
it's a little bit
experience
like
with
that.
it. I did like there was Ron at a certain point played a tournament with four strips, and he played with Blood Moon. I really like that take because that takes
Yeah,
out
I sort of like the
the
gameplay
strips.
of four strip actually because it means that there's a lot of small decisions mattering, but it does lead to a lot of non-games as well.
It is definitely a different game, you know. And
Yeah,
and, and I'm also of the kind like I prefer Swedish, but also because I'm used to it. I'm sure that's also part of
right,
it.
right, right.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
you're
so
used to a format and
yeah, for me, it's a little bit the opposite. I might like four strip because I'm not used to it. I play like once a year or even less, and that means that
yeah, I
yeah, it's
played
just fun to.
EC last week, and I
Oh
played the deck
geez,
with Lantex.
look
Ooh,
at this.
dust
First
to dust,
library,
right?
then drawing into dust to dust on the book and the marks.
Ay, 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 ay. Yeah,
Indeed, yeah.
that is tough. Like you're already in a losing position, and that happens. Because he
Yeah,
was
I was a little
finally
bit
finding his lands
wondering.
again, eh?
Yeah, I was wondering why Rob let him have that book, No Decision, No Counterspell, but the answer came here.
There's the Soul Ring. Yeah, he doesn't even have double blue at Pencho.
Okay, so Rob really likes artifact removal in this matchup then, bringing in Dust to Dust as well. Whereas Pencho has somewhere between two and three Suchis and one book and then the artifacts. But then, okay, yeah, Pencho is playing Fellow Stones as well. So maybe I just underestimated how good that would be. So I did not think about Dust to Dust here, but it's definitely a good card.
Yeah, it definitely did his work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob has to find that extra threat.
But now like Rob is on library as well, so I think it's
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Tutor.
Demonic. Did he? Oh, he already played the strip. Yeah, so he could go for Chaos Orb, flip on the mace, or simply just look for more threats or Ancestral Recall, just draw more cards.
Exactly. I mean, doesn't it seem better to just go for Ancestral to get ahead on more threats instead of going for the Chaos Orb?
Probably. Or more Recall. Just Recall, and then because you're already drawing more
Sure.
cards.
This is a good point. If he has ported in Recall, you can just Recall for five, or for two, I mean, for like now or probably next turn, getting back the Tutor and the Strip Mine or something like that.
Yeah, that would be quite nice, actually.
And then Tutor for Ancestral.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. I like it when you tutor for something that isn't obvious.
Yeah, me too, right? Keeps you guessing.
Tutor for Time Warp, I guess, could be something.
Yeah, and again, it depends on what he has in hand, of course. Ooh, he's
Okay,
got a
he discards
discard.
the hand size instead. Maybe just tutor for a counterspell if he didn't have one.
Yeah, I wanted to say exactly the same. Knowing Rob, I mean, he's so like safe.
No, but I think that's a good plan. Like, actually, a good play here. The winning play because it does have the library, so it only really wants to stop Mind Twist.
Yeah, so
Then
you're
it's
already
probably winning.
winning. You're already winning. So what do you want?
Yeah,
Counter magic. Yeah, it makes sense.
I think so. Yeah,
Because you're gonna find another threat or like
exactly,
one chaos
exactly,
rope with
exactly.
that drawing of
Yeah,
cards. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Nice.
yeah. And he doesn't need more cards. Like a counterspell is better than ancestral when you're already drawing more than anything else.
Gets rid
Disenchant
of
on
Soul
Soul Ring.
Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Could
Probably
have
means
could
he
have
has
kept it.
another removal spell for the
Yeah, right.
factory then. Yeah.
At least Pension has two blue, because those are two tundras.
True. True.
And Rob again. It's like he's counting money going through his cards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the finals and have like 2 games out of your 3 games where you manage to get an active Loa.
But like the mid game Loa is much less scary in general. This is real not really that what did it.
Yeah,
It's
true,
so
true.
much
No, it
more
was
than I mean the problem wasn't really the library. The problem was that the mana screw
absolutely.
of
Yeah.
Pencho.
And then he managed to kind of struggle back in there. Then there was the dust to dust, right? That was really brutal.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh, what a luxury in Rob land. All those options. Only 1 card for Pencho.
Yeah.
9 against 17. So apparently, Svante, there's also old school in Prague. Because Pencho organizes it.
That is interesting. I've never
Yeah.
played old school in Prague. One should go there and investigate, I guess.
Exactly, because I know Pencho invited Richard, and Richard
Okay.
invited me, so I see we can get
Ah,
a chain going. I don't know when it is yet, but
interesting.
when I know, I'll let you know.
I played like a couple of Grand Prix in Prague back in the day. It would be nice to play some old school there as well. Huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe
so
that this is Pencho's first big finish. He has played like some derbies before, but this is the first big one. He's doing well in, I believe. It's very very cool to see someone new making a name on the scene.
yeah, and apparently, like in Prague in the local scene, he's well known, but that's something else, of
Right, right.
course.
Of course, yeah. It's also nice to see more local scenes popping up or
Nice,
something
right?
like
That
that.
they all have that unique atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually really like
Nice.
small tournaments. You have
Yeah,
time to talk to
what's
everybody.
your favorite size of tournament?
I think around the 30, 32, something like that.
Yeah,
Or really small, 8, but then it's not really a tournament. But I
so
also, I
heroes
mean,
and
I also like the
swords.
the the, the bigger tournaments. It's all about the organization, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. If a
Like,
bigger tournament works, it's very good to
yeah,
have it like that. Here we see some cards being exchanged, but one of the players has more mana and a library, so it's not that
yeah,
fair
because
in
we see that
many
attempt
ways.
to counter by
Yep, yep,
Pencho, right? There's the
yep,
mana drain to
yep,
answer.
yep. Yeah. Um, so
Yeah, so then the factory dies.
yeah, I really like either something like 26 or 24 or so. So it's small enough that you can talk to everybody and it feels small and cozy in a way. Or it can be large and just like, um, I don't know, like 100 or something. So it's
Yeah,
just so
like a
large, it doesn't really
UTC
matter.
or
Yeah, yeah,
the NoobCon. Like I really enjoyed the Wizards tournament at NoobCon. Just the whole vibe. Ooh, Mind Twist.
yeah. Mine was
Oh,
an
look at
ancestor. What?
that!
Okay,
Oh
that is
no!
that is a hand. Yeah, I agree. Like those kind of events with like 50, 60 people is also good. So
Oh,
it's
but
just
this
easy to
this
enjoy every game, right? Yeah,
this twist, eh? Because this Pencho actually had a pretty good hand too.
he
If he
did.
had a
Yeah,
chance, that hand
uh,
gave him options, eh? With the Mind Twist and the Ancestral Recall.
yeah.
Gone, gone, gone. Water under the
He just
bridge.
would have needed this city like a turn ago instead, so he could have
Yeah, then he could
played
have countered.
ancestor with like taking some damage, playing ancestor with counter back up, getting a counter, then getting back with mind twist, and he would have been sort of in the game. But yeah, that
Exactly.
mana
He would
didn't work.
still be behind, but at least there was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, right? I feel like
Yeah,
now
now it's just way over.
it's dark, 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 dark.
Yeah, no more light here.
Look at Rob go. Keeps drawing those cards.
Library is a good card.
There he goes in for 6. He has an attempt to block. I mean, he could pump the factory trade. Or of
Exactly.
course do
Does he want
disenchanted
to?
souls.
Yeah, yeah. So he does. Let's trade. That's an easy way to do it. Starting getting in for 2 then. Takes a lot of time still, but like this sort of makes me wonder if Rob cut all his surrenders.
Good point. Yeah, because we haven't seen a single one.
Uh, and it's sort of reasonable.
I mean, he has to
Expecting
make space.
mazes and Rebs and everything and Saras, but still, like the Rebs is going to be so good anyway. That's why I'm not sure I love it, but I could definitely see it.
Yeah, because reps, of course, can be quite decisive in those counter wars.
The problem is also that Pencho doesn't have that
Hey,
much
time
red
warp.
mana. He only has the
Yeah.
cities and the marks and one follower.
Hey, there we see the red elemental blast.
Yep.
You're talking about it.
Yep.
It shows up.
Exactly. On the time walk, yeah.
He's thinking, do I want to counter and probably get off the Loa? I mean, would you here?
Uh,
You're so far
Probably
ahead.
not. As I said,
Yeah,
like if you think about whether to do it or not, then you just shouldn't.
I like that. I like that philosophy.
So. But now he has more aggression as well. Sure, there's no factory, but there's still so many cards.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna, of course, win it.
Yeah, the library sort of does that.
I mean, basically, the library makes any deck a the deck, right? Because you keep having your card advantage.
Well, if
Make
any
it
deck
really
with
simple.
the counter spells and swords and disenchants, I would say, yeah,
Yeah,
that it is.
yeah.
It's really the combination of card draw and all the answers that does it.
Is aggro your favorite play style?
In old school, it is. It sort of
Okay.
depends, but I've found that I prefer the bolts mostly in old school because it's more fun. But in general, I would say that I'm more of bring yes, more
Yeah,
of a
we see the
control
thumbs
or
up from
combo player
Pencho.
actually. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, like when I started old school, I played nothing but the deck for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But also like in serious Magic, I played a lot of combo decks, like spell-based combo decks in general, in Legacy and so on. So yeah, that deserves more wine. Yeah, that's a good point.
Good
I
point,
would also
Pencho.
feel like that. Yeah, I would also do that. But I just sort of like the combo feel of aggro here because you can do like the draw 7 things where you just empty your hand with bolts and so on, and then you go unload with draw 7 and so on. So like the combo aggro nature of these
Mm-hmm.
lists is something I like.
Yeah, the draw sevens are great, right?
What I really don't like
Keeps you
is
going.
these kind of mid-range decks. That's what I dislike the most in the format. That's what I never play. I always want to play like aggro
Ah,
or combo or
okay,
control or
okay,
something.
okay.
I,
So
I,
these decks
I
are
just
not
don't like that.
really your cup of tea.
No, I mean I like watching them. They're good games to watch. They like exciting matches back and forth and so on. I just don't really like. I don't enjoy the gameplay very much.
Ah, okay, yeah.
I like to push something to the extreme, either being control-ish or being aggro
Ah,
or
that's what you
being
mean.
just
Yeah,
a combo
yeah,
deck.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. These are like good decks for casual meetup or something because different things can happen in different games. But in a tournament, I kind of like
Yeah,
doing
I
one
kind of
thing very hard instead.
the mid range is a little bit what everybody used to play when I
Hmm.
started
Yeah,
playing in '95. Most decks were mid range decks, but we
yeah.
didn't know
Right,
what we
right,
were
right.
doing. We didn't realize that they were mid range decks. We were just like, okay,
But it's sort of natural like that. Here we did see Rob discarding 3 cards of hand size, and those were the control magic and what was I going to say? Yeah, still no dibs also.
So he
So it
probably
does
boarded
show,
them out.
it does show that. Yeah, it does feel like that. And also, what was it else? I was going to say something else, but now I forgot what it was.
Hey,
Oh,
there's a
that's a
recall. So
recall.
he also boarded in the
Yep, yep,
recall. So
yeah.
we know that now. Dust to dust and recall for sure. Maybe an extra control
Uh-huh.
magic. There he
Oh yeah,
comes.
he also discarded the Time Twister. That was what I was going to say. That he does have Time Twister in the deck still.
Yeah, and it makes sense here, of course, because you don't want to give Pencho a full hand. Why
No,
would you?
he kept it. He kept it. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
he kept it, but it's in the
No,
graveyard. I
I
mean, right?
mean, yeah, I mean that he
Yeah, yeah,
kept it in the deck. He did not cut it when
yeah,
sideboarding, which I
exactly.
could have
Yeah.
seen otherwise. Um,
In the chat, they're
but
talking
that sort
about
of
the drink
that
here
really
for
makes me
Pencho.
think he cut. Sorry.
They're talking about Pencho's drink in the chat because he's mixing
Ah, okay,
wine.
right. Mixing
He's making prosecco,
wine.
Czech prosecco.
Yes. Yeah. So you also brought in divine offerings. There's a ton of artifact hate here from Rob's side.
Wow. So if you're Pencho and you're seeing this, would you consider? Yeah, but if he takes out the sushi, what can he put in? He can't really, can he?
Right. Right. But
That's the
then again,
problem
he has to cut
that I have
something,
with
right?
these sushis. It's like you're giving your opponent 4 life, when you
That
play against
doesn't
Rob.
matter so much though. See, I could like after seeing this, maybe he wants
Oh,
to
that's
cut
it.
down on artifacts. I think you do, right?
Yeah.
I think you could cut Suchis and not bring in the book
Now let's have another
because
look here at Pencho's list. Yeah. I mean, if you would cut the sushis, he only has 4 creatures here and the Mishra's Factories.
I know, and it's not so easy because Rob has counterspells and the swords and all that, and that's sort of the problem with these kind of lists, right?
He does have a single fireball, so I mean,
He does, yeah, and he also has like Sylvan to get ahead on, which is not hit by all of that artifact hate, but I don't know. I think like playing around that a little bit, like playing around the hate with counterspells and so on, is maybe something to do.
yeah, it feels so bad, right? If you play a sushi and then you divine offerings it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think Rob's life matters that much because Pencho is definitely the control
Yeah,
player
it's
in the
more the
matchup.
control player. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that is the problem. I mean, the dust to dust is a problem, but there's only one of those, right? Yeah, only one of those.
I guess it's all for Pencho. It's all about using those counter spells the
Uh-huh.
right way, right?
Uh-huh.
Knowing what you want to counter. I mean, a dust to dust is typically a card you want to counter. He couldn't do it
Yeah.
at the time, by the way, because I mean, he was. This was a game that he was basically losing. It took a long time still, right? Because he was mana screwed, couldn't find any lands.
Yes, that was a long game.
Yeah, so he
It's
still did
true.
okay considering the bad draws at the
Yep.
start.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It got closer than it would have been otherwise, I think. But it's a little bit sad that it was just a library game and not like a control magic game, which could have been cool. Letting Rob actually use those control magics. I mean, who doesn't like control magics? So,
Yeah, but now the pressure is on Pencho.
yep, yep.
I've been also what I like Control Magic Diamond Valley. It's also nice
That's
because
sweet.
if your opponent then has disenchant or whatever or the red blast, hey, I'm just gonna gobble it up, gain some life. What if Diamond
Yep.
Valley would be able to tap for mana,
It would have been
right?
so good, and it would
Like
have
Loa
changed
and the
things
strip mine.
so much. Yeah. It would have been. It would have changed the format quite a bit. Like aggro would have been worse in general, and bottle would have been better. So
Yeah,
yeah, that would
Bottle
have been
is yeah.
something.
But if the design, again, Bottle is also one of those cards that you keep thinking about. If they change the design a little bit, and you see that with Golgothian Silex, hardly sees
Yep,
any
yep,
play.
yep, yep,
And I think the main reason is right because you have to sacrifice it. Of course, it's more mana as well, and that's also an issue. But the fact that you have to sacrifice it,
yep.
right? And Bottle, you have all usually when you play it out, you already have value. And then they have
Yeah,
to spend
bottle
the
is a
time to get rid of it.
little bit too much sometimes. And there's also the thing like, what if library didn't tap for mana or
Yeah.
something like that? So you could do that if you wanted to.
That would have been a better design. There's actually on YouTube a video where you see Richard Garfield play Unsleeved Magic. Maybe you've seen it, where he plays a
Yeah, probably at some point.
black and a green deck with 4 Library of Alexandrias. I think it was
Yeah.
one of his favorite cards.
Yeah. I mean, why
I
not?
think he also played a Craw Giant in that same deck.
Yeah,
Magic was more fun back
perfect
then.
combo. Yeah, for a little while, yeah, until somebody found out what you could actually do with unrestricted library and so on.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. It's typical one of those cards. Oh, if you don't abuse it, it's fun.
You know why the deck is called the deck?
Because it is the deck. No, it wins.
No, it was originally called the Mind Twist deck because it played 4 Mind Twists.
I didn't.
And then it sort of dropped that when Mind Twist got restricted, or maybe even before that. But it was like, just imagine, like that was the thing. You play like 4 Mind Twists and four libraries as the card draw engine.
Wow.
And then you killed with like juggernauts, if I remember correctly.
That is
like
sick.
Some
is
counter
not
spells
fun at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have read about these decks that really abuse balance.
Yeah, that is beautiful though. Those are like well built and interesting in a way that no other deck is, because there hasn't been any balance deck since. But this is like a little bit earlier. But that was also like not understood until way later. It was actually into '95 that balance got restricted, I think.
Wow, took them that long.
Yeah. So like the rack balance deck took so long to get back. Okay, so I believe Pencho is taking a mulligan here, and now they keep. I think so, at least, or maybe it just took him forever to.
I hope the latter, that it just took him forever. I just want to see 7 against 7, no mana screws, bring it on. No.
Oh no! At least no libraries. Yeah. So do we see a ancestral or lion? He's considering, so maybe it's not lion. What do you think? Okay, marks. Maybe it was considering whether to play the marks or not.
What could he play for 2? Because he's thinking about
Chaos Orb or Time Walk or Tutor.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. And here you would go for Ancestral Recall, I assume.
So he was on 8, so he's on 6.
You mean he could go for Loa, you mean?
Yeah, like this is the kind of matchup where library is almost the best, but it would have to keep off it 1 turn, right?
Yeah, because he was on the draw.
Yeah, so 8, playing out those 2, he's on 6. Playing the tutor is 5, getting the card from the tutor is 6. So he's going to be off it for 1 turn. I don't hate that still. I think library might be better, or sorry, ancestral might be better, but I'm not sure.
It's got to be interesting to see the choice that he has made. It's probably it's got to be between those 2 cards, right? Unless maybe you've got a Black Lotus in hand and you can say, I'm going to go for Mind Twist.
Yeah. It's hard to say when we don't know his hand, but it could also be the opposite, like getting Lotus if he has Mind Twist.
True.
In theory, but this is like against the counterspell deck, which
but
is
if we see another Loa, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get wine if we see another Loa. I promise.
But will you get something sparkling to put into the wine?
I don't have that. I would never do that.
You just have the wine. Yeah, that's okay.
Here's the City of Brass. A funny thing, my girlfriend really wanted the wine fridge. That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So we got one, after deliberating, and because it's it's not cheap. And guess what she decided to do last year?
No.
She stopped drinking. She's not drinking any alcohol. And I'm more a beer guy. I like wine, but I'm more a beer guy. So
Right. Yeah, that's bad life choices, I guess. On the
right? And
other
now
hand, it's probably healthy to stop drinking, so there is that. But
it
still,
is very healthy, and she's very happy with it.
okay, let's
So
hear
that's
it.
absolutely
Oh,
no
there is the
issue.
ancestral
But
though.
there's the ancestral. But yeah, I'm stuck with a lot of wine. So yeah.
Uh-huh. You have to invite friends who like a lot of wine, then I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I have a house party, so I always bring now a bottle of wine. Anyway, ancestral
Oh
here, so I guess he went
no,
for the
but this is actually
ancestral.
interesting because Rob bricks on lands.
Sorry,
Didn't
what?
draw land of the ancestor, just through the marks.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And Pencho, sorry, I was
yeah, Pencho has a
babbling on. Yeah.
library, tutor into presumably ancestral. I'm not sure how many cards, but it feels like he
Wow.
has only played disenchant and then this, so it feels like
Yeah,
ancestral. Yeah, so
ancestral.
this ancestral will
Ooh.
bring him up to library, I would assume at least.
I think I'll stop talking about my wine problems and we'll focus on the match. so, so
It's
we've
not a
got a
wine problem. It's a wife problem, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And now he's gonna draw three. Oh man, he's coming back. He wasn't that far behind to start with, of
Yeah,
course.
like the weird thing was him not having a counter spell or a red blast, I guess, because he tapped out for disenchant all the marks instead of keeping it up for the possible ancestral. But like this is a way to get back into it, right? His
Absolutely.
marks also, and he's probably have a 7. Rob missing the land drop there. Like this is the case where he would love to cast a dib, but he
It's so
probably doesn't
interesting,
even have
right?
them in the deck
Because
anymore.
in the first game we saw Rob Loa, second game Pencho Loa, third game
Yeah.
Pencho mana issues. Now Rob has mana issues.
And Pencho has Loa.
Yeah, it's like
No.
they made a little deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very important for Rob here. Okay, Chaos Orb
Okay,
could be
taps out for a
worse.
Chaos Orb. Yeah, but still, like, I mean, sure, it's correct, but now
Yeah,
Poncho has,
yeah.
like,
Must have
Pencho
been
has actually a turn to draw into a disenchant, and even if
tempting
it doesn't, he gets an extra card. So
for Rob. You're almost tempted to just keep it in hand, right, and wait for that land. So you can. But then again,
no, I don't think you can do
Penchos,
you can't do that. You have to do this
yeah, yeah.
because
The longer
there's
you wait,
counterspells
the
as
more
well.
cards Pencho has. Yeah, and you can
Yeah, and
also,
it's
of course,
just counterspells,
disenchant in
right?
response. Yeah.
He doesn't have it though. No,
Ooh,
oh, it's
time
a
walk.
time walk. Wait, what?
So now he can attack for 2,
Here's
I guess.
regrowth as well. Okay.
Oh, regrowth. Wow. Pencho. It's a good turn for
Uh-huh.
him.
Yeah, he's just trying to dig for the disenchant, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at digging because now he's got Ancestral
That's
still in
very true.
hand.
And he has so many cards that the Chaos Orb on the library isn't even that awful. He has so many cards here.
Wow.
Draw.
So now he's got 8. Didn't have a
Yeah,
land drop yet.
presumably casting Ancestral. Now he has 10.
This is crazy.
You could still just play like a card and like a land and a Suchi and discard 1, which isn't the worst. Because then he's so much ahead on resources as well. Or like an Urnum.
Yeah, so maybe you're like, I want to keep counter magic open. I'm so far ahead. But I guess if you have a disenchant, you would play it here, right?
Yeah, if he has it, he casts it.
I mean, regrowth ancestral recall is just, it's so disgusting. It's so good. I still like it every once in a while to just, get an underpowered deck and try to battle these power decks. It's quite fun.
Yeah. But it's hard to do these kind of things. Like it's hard to beat these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just gonna discard 2 cards here.
And
City
I
and
think
something else.
whenever you do that, right, when you go to a tournament, you have a certain expectation. So, or you go in full powered or tier 1 deck, whatever you want to call it, then you have a certain expectation. Or you go with a homebrew, something, right?
That's a City at least.
Okay, yeah, City. I guess we're now going to see the flip, right? You have to try.
Yep.
I mean, this is that back against the wall scenario where you just have to do it.
Yeah, you can't wait. You have to do it now.
In an ideal scenario, Rob has a counter backup here. Huh? He could use the Mox Pearl to flip. He can
Yep,
make
yep,
two blue.
yep.
I mean, he's fine. You're fine, Rob. You're
But like, no,
fine.
but he doesn't need it because Pencho doesn't have the disenchant anyway. Because then he would have cast it when Rob was tapped out.
Yeah, good point.
So he can just flip. But then he doesn't do very much else, and he's so much behind on resources anyway. But he has to do it.
Oh, I can't stand these flips. Can't stand it. Quickly, put it away. Move on with your lives. Anyway, so now Rob's still... I mean, he's got a lot of cards in hand there. He's not dead in the water.
No, but it's still like 3 lands, 3 mana behind. Something like that.
So people are talking in the chat that he
That's
could also
amazing.
have regrowed the disenchant, and then disenchanted Chaos Orb to protect the library. Would that be a logical
That's true.
line?
Unsure. It depends on what he has in hand, I guess.
Maybe he wants to go off the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to change something about my sound, by the way, but I'll be... So if I sound a little
Okay.
distant, that's me.
Yep. This is Sylvan. See mana ray on the Sylvan. Wow. That's
Okay.
oh, a Reb to take it back. My guess here is the mana drain is sort of acceleration into Sarah, more than stopping the Sylvan. What do you think about that?
Give me 1 sec. I gotta fix some technical difficulties.
Sure. Now I just feel that it felt like Sylvan is maybe not the most impactful card here, and just trying to get some mana is maybe more important. Could be something like that, or maybe these guys are valuing Sylvan higher than I am, which is also possible.
Okay, yeah, I'm 100% back, so I can focus again. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Can people let me know in the chat if you can still hear me? That would be nice. But you were saying, did he mana drain the Sylvan? And then there was the Red Blast?
And then Pencho defended the Sylvan with a Red Blast, yes.
Okay, yeah.
It could be a thing that like Pencho doesn't have counterspell, just the Red Blast. And like if Rob would get the 2 mana, then something like Sarah or Mind Twist would be so much better. So
Yeah, exactly.
it feels a little bit like that.
On 14, right? So how often is he still going to use the Sylvan?
I think he's on 14 after paying for life, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I seem to remember that it was higher before, but I'm not sure. I missed that. This feels like the kind of situation where you do want to pay life, because Rob is not really attacking very much. You just want to draw cards to push your mana advantage a little bit here. Make it into a board advantage. You don't really need life advantage. Run offering on the Mox doesn't do very much.
Right, that's the only target, right?
Yep. I mean, he has a factory underneath it, but it's not active right now.
Is he
just saying he's countering that, I think.
Oh wow.
Mana Rain. This is going to be cool because this is also probably just trying to get some.
But would you counter this?
I mean, it depends on what he has in hand, right? I think he wants the mana. He wants 2 mana for a Brain Geyser or Mind Twist or something.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah, and Rob, of course, taking lots of damage from the city sets. It's mentioned here in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yep.
So now he's taking that extra card, going to 10.
Yeah, I think he might have done so before as well. Actually.
So this would be his second extra card drawn from the Sylvan.
Uh-huh. It feels like Mind Twist to me, the way this is played out. It very much does.
And the cards there. Ooh, the connection of Rob is not great.
Uh-huh.
If we get 2, so it's 6 cards here for Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the twist. You called it.
As I said.
So is this a twist for 3?
No, it's for 5 because you mana drain the
Of
Divine
course.
Offering on the marks.
Yeah, and then the mana
So
drain also
he's
makes
letting
more
him keep
sense.
1 because he has a counter spell, but yeah.
Yeah, and then the mana drain also makes more sense. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. I think so. Let's see here. Swords, Brain Geyser, Swords, Time Twister.
Oh, that is huge.
Yeah. Control Magic. Those are some good cards here from Rob's side.
The Time Twister was huge. Yeah, I mean that's really one of those cards that can get you back.
Now it's only really balance.
And still, Pencho is 2 blue open, eh?
Uh-huh.
There he goes. So Pencho on 9. Probably not going to draw an extra card here.
You could. It's not like Rob is attacking him.
You don't want to go to because if you do an extra card, you go to 5. Then if you use your city once, you go to 4, and then there's the Psionic Blast.
And there could be Sonic Blast, even though we haven't seen any. There could be.
Yeah, I wonder how they board it. If they board it out, are we going to see Sarah? Oh, Brain Geyser.
I see Brain Geyser. Yep. Kind of strange to keep Tropical up and not Tundra. So I also thought it was a Sarah just because of that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Because then if you draw into, for example, Disenchant, you can consider disenchanting the Mox Pearl of Rob.
Yeah.
So more cards for Pencho.
Huh. I did that.
There's the pass. Ooh, the dust to dust again.
2 Moxes. I think it's fine with that. I mean, it's sort of fine with it because it's not really doing much. Sure, it needs mana, but it still has so much.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
So we're on our way to game number 5, it seems.
We are. Very slowly, though, but still we are. Now, Pencho can actually start attacking because he has 2 factors. Attack with 1.
It's a little glitchy, but hey.
Get in for this. He could actually attack with both if he had the mana because he has the maze as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. He can get the 1 back that's being blocked.
I think I like that. I think I would have liked that. Attacking with both instead.
Yeah, because, and then you even could consider, I guess you want to deal damage, but you could consider the one that's being blocked by the lion to use your mace to get it back. The one that's unblocked.
No, but like if you block for the lion, you make the other one and kill the lion.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Yeah. What you say? That's right. What I wanted to say.
But maybe he has 2 counterspells up, and that makes sense. Like he did keep 4 blue up, so it could be the case. It's hard for us to say.
And still, that single poor lion.
Still just 1 little vector.
I mean, after Savannah Lions, what is the most playable vanilla creature, in your opinion?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question. Eh? You got to think about it.
It is a good question.
There's a Sarah counter to Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, none
if you're Rob, I
really
get this play right.
play. I mean, playable. There
Hmm.
are things which are playable, I guess, but none see play. Like Grizzly Bears isn't that bad.
Oh, funny. I did. Yeah, Grizzly Bears. Yeah, good point. I mean, because of Pendelhaven, of course, you don't see that often. That option.
Well,
An Elvish Archer.
more for called the Pearl Trident, I guess,
Yeah, that's in the
because
most.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been in a noob con top 8.
I was thinking Earth Elemental myself.
That has not been in a noob con top 8, as far as I know.
No, of course not. But just purely.
Yeah, Earth Elemental is probably underplayed, right? Because it's better than it looks. It's better than the amount of play it is, because it says 0 play and it's not that bad, I guess.
I mean, it's an
The
expensive
issue,
Erhnam gin, but it doesn't die to sit in a bottle. And I mean, the
and
5
it's like it's.
blood.
I could see it being played against Blood Moon in a 4-color red deck or something like that. Like just the way that you play Suchi now, also. But I mean, the biggest issue with Earth Elemental and Fire Elemental is that you're so hard pressed not to pay one more
Ooh.
mana.
And Rob here doing the mind is probably not gonna. Nah, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, he dies from tapping his status. No, but like the issue is that you pay one more mana and get a Shivan that is like twice as good.
Yeah, exactly. Because you see people do that. They play Shivan on
That's the problem.
sideboard against Blood Moon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. But
Well, two
otherwise, yeah,
two.
I think 2-2. That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna take 2 minutes break. Be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we're gonna go to game number 5. That's pretty cool. And then let's check the chat. Yeah, Raging Bull, of course. Raging Bull, best vanilla, for sure. Gaia's Avenger. Yeah, that's a hard card to play. It's a cool card though, Gaia's Avenger. We sometimes play multiplayer, like EDH 100 cards old school, and then I play with those cards. Yeah, so my question was for you guys, like, what is the best vanilla to play after Savannah Alliance? Obviously, Savannah Alliance is number one. And then Svante said Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. That makes sense. He's probably right. But what do you think? Dirkwood Boars. That's a good one. Actually, Dirkwood, there was a deck with Dirkwood Boars, I think, in NoobCon that made the finals. I know there was War Mammoth in there, maybe also Dirkwood Boars. I also love the art of Dirkwood Boars. 1 green and 4, easy to splash. Yeah, the Ironclaw Orc, but it's not a vanilla because it's got a downside. I know that sounds weird, right? I like the boars. Reminds me of Asterix and Obelix, the comic. And of the French boards, of course, the playgroup. Yeah, I think you're right. Ironclaw needs an honorary mention. It is pretty cool to see how often Ironclaw is being played. And let's also put a little audio on of the players.
Killing yourself. Okay, I think I'm gonna try
The
that.
apes from Legends. Yes, the Barbary apes. They also see some play.
Let's see.
I agree, Koender, the elementals. Crawlworm, yeah,
I
also
think I
cool.
will have to pee again, but
Sushi is brown, really,
Yeah,
Lisha, not vanilla.
Let's do that. I'll take a quick break now. 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm back here. And also, like, having a drawback is not make it vanilla, right? So.
Hey, you're back. So actually, Rob is also taking a break, Svante.
Okay. So it's actually a break in the match then.
Ah, Scarwood Goblin, somebody says, as a vanilla.
Well, that's worse than Grizzly Bears.
Well, in a Goblin deck, but is it? No, I guess it says on the card that it's considered 2 colors, which is just a rule. So it's not an ability, but
yeah, but not in the Oracle wording.
Yeah, true. So
no, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Merfolk actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how they did that, right? Because they gave goblins, the Mons Goblin Raiders, the Goblin Balloon Brigade, and the Goblin King.
Yeah.
But of course, Goblin King being 3, and then you've got Lord of Atlantis for 2 blue, but only the Merfolk of the Pearl Trident.
Yep.
And then you have
they didn't think so much about
zombies.
that, but
the poor zombies, because they're bigger.
Yeah,
right? The
that's
2/3.
so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 2/2 vanilla.
And the Lord is so bad. Also, it doesn't
Yeah.
boost the power.
What I do like about the zombies is the how do you call it again when they did the big creature type upgrade? So all of a sudden you got a lot more zombies.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I'm sort of bothered by that because that means that you can't play like weird formats without like looking at what creature type every card actually is. Like drafting an old tribal formats now, it's almost impossible, right? Drafting Odyssey or something. Whereas, is this card still a bird soldier? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's like a bird knight now and stuff like that. So
you have to decide that beforehand, I guess, right? How you want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just agree we're going to use the old creature types.
Of course, yeah.
Nice.
I think that is the way to do it. Just that it's so elegant to be able to use modern rules in general, because otherwise you fall into weird things like nobody actually knows how damage prevention steps work and so on.
Yeah, it's much more just workable, for sure.
Yep.
I did.
Okay, now we have a game.
Yeah, man.
Now we have a game.
Game 5.
Game 5. Rob's on the play. Did anybody see if they re-sideboarded anything?
Well, we were actually talking with the chat about what vanilla creatures are the best. So
Right.
But,
so probably not, and they probably kind of happy with what they did because they had most of the same, which we saw between game 3 and 4. So I guess something like that. Rob is keeping and Pencho too, I guess. Oh, library. Okay, this is starting to get slightly ridiculous.
Man.
But it's a little bit too much.
I haven't seen so
I
many
was
in a long time.
So much hoping for a demonic tutor there. Oh wait! They can do that. Okay, they caught it. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he cannot tap the Felwar Stone because it doesn't produce.
No, but he could have cast the Sol Ring before. He can cast the Sol Ring before and tap the Sol Ring to cast the Felwar. Come on. You should just do that.
Yeah, it's of course up to the players.
Of course, yeah, but I mean, like, this is just a sequencing error thing. We could just do that instead. Keeping the Sol Ring untapped just makes 0 sense. So you could just do that. But it's up to them what they do. But there's no reason not to do that.
I would say go for it for sure. I mean,
it doesn't matter, right? So it doesn't affect anything. Just that it's probably even better. Like, it's strictly better to tap the Sol Ring than tap the Felwar, because what is it going to do with an untapped Sol Ring at the opponent's turn? Whereas an untapped Felwar could actually do something. I mean, it could have like white and Felwar untapped or something like that, because he has the Sol Ring. This is just sequencing error times 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see if it matters or not.
Yeah. See, look at that Black Lotus.
So Rob plays Lotus. Does he not play land to keep
so
Pencho from
mean
using?
He doesn't
no, he doesn't. Has Dust to Dust? Okay.
Taking care of the pearl.
Wait, what now? Oh, it's a divine offering. I thought it was dust to dust.
No,
Sorry,
it's divine
sorry.
offering. Oh, that would have been brutal.
Yeah,
Dust to dust.
yeah.
Wow.
I was too locked into that and just thought it was something like that.
It's not that bad.
Just
It's
that.
bad, but not that bad.
Right. But Rob misses land drop here. He uses that instead of having to discard.
So there we see that soul ring and a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think...
Still, there is library. And now he has mana, I guess. But still, if he misses... No, he has it. Was very close there. Imagine, like, Rob missing another land drop and Pencho starts playing creatures. That would have been something. This, though. Lion. Yeah, lion is nothing.
Savannah lion.
Uh-huh. So now let's see here. This is the kind of library game that is exciting, right? One player has library, the other one has all the fast mana and can start playing big things.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. And I'm kind of hoping, of course, that now Rob doesn't have...
Come on.
Time
It's
Walk.
Earn them into Time Walk.
This
and then
is
with the
good.
factory up as well. Yeah, this is exciting.
There's
He
the swing.
doesn't have removal for the lion though, so he can't get in with the factory yet, but he gets in with the Urnum.
Yeah, you're
And
kind of...
presumably has a counterspell or something.
Right. I mean, you got to assume that Rob has a swords here. And then hope that Pencho can counter it away.
You never know. I mean, it's only 4 swords.
True, yeah.
Like he has control medic as well, but that's a couple of turns away.
So some glitches on the side here. Yeah, now there's Rob back again. Thunder on board.
So do you think Rob is thinking about whether to play swords now or wait a turn until he has counterspell backup?
Yeah, I think
that might mean he only has 1 swords then.
I think
could
if
be a
that's the choice, I would keep counter magic open and just take a hit for 4.
I think you have to, right? Because
Yeah.
Pencho probably has very few cards in hand because he hasn't drawn any extra and plays out so much mana. So if Rob can just handle this safely, he should be good.
There's the
Oh,
chomp.
he even chump blocks here.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense as well, I guess.
Although I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it was a good blocker for the factory, of course.
And also, it's so late. Like he has 16 life already.
But this divine offering is interesting, right? It kind of tells me that Rob doesn't have a sword, or else he would play swords.
He has so many cards, though. He has so many cards for
Yeah.
library. Just want to get one out of his hand, I think. But that's why he blocked also. But still, yeah. So now he's gonna swords with counterspell backup, taking a hit from the factory, going down to 15. I still don't think it was right to jump block.
Yeah, because now he can also attack with the factory, right? Without it really.
Yeah,
being
so I
punished.
mean, he's not going to do that, but I think that Rob's just going to win unless Pencho has a power card now. Let's here we see the swords, I would assume. Or maybe not.
Because Pencho
So
is
it's-
playing with Armageddon in the side, right?
That is true, and that would be beautiful, but I don't.
So I guess he attacked here, right, with the Urnum, then Rob should go to 13.
No, but it's still. I think we're in the combat phase still.
Okay.
Combat step.
I mean, if he's got a sword, he can play it out with counter backup, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting
So
to see.
that means that something is happening here. I mean, for example, say Rob has a swords but no counterspell, and then he's thinking about is it worth doing it or not? That could definitely be a thing. He has the swords,
There's the
that's a
counterspell.
and I think Rob doesn't have a counterspell actually. What is this?
For the sake of the game, I hope he doesn't.
Right. Yeah, me too. Like I really like the thing that if he has counterspell, or like a creature racing a library trying to get back. Yeah, so he doesn't have the counterspell. That was a thing. That was what he was digging for and waiting for and not doing anything. However, I really don't like not attacking with a factory here, which might mean that Pencho actually has another counterspell. Otherwise, I think he would have attacked with a counterspell, with a factory.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I think he has another counterspell, or he bluffs it, but I don't think you bluff it here because you really want to get in with the damage if you can. So that's exciting. I like this game.
And we're going to find out if he's got a counterspell soon enough. Is this another Swords? He's going to try to protect the Urnum. There's the other.
It was another counterspell.
Yeah, you called it. Countering it away.
And Rob obviously would have cast this Swords now, even if he doesn't have the counterspell. But maybe he drew that as well.
I mean, he is thinking about something.
Yes.
Ooh, does he have a counterspell?
I mean, if he has the counterspell, he has to play it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is he thinking about?
Maybe he's got a time walk? But then why would you have to think
No,
so long?
but the story, it's still on the stack here, right?
Yeah, true. Another Swords? Another Swords, wow.
Jeez, so unless he drew exactly 2 swords now, why didn't he cast the last one? I don't know.
The silver
Okay,
line
that was
for Pencho is though that the 3 swords.
Oh, another fact. Look, this is cool because now we have it's
And
still a
the
race because now I think Rob is off library, right?
For
Because he
that
played
reason.
land and then the swords.
No, he's
So
got
he's off library for a
6.
turn
I
and
think,
he's on 10 against 22.
I think he's back on the library now, to be honest.
Are you sure?
I think as he just
Okay,
put the cards there, yeah.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, it was on. Was it really? Okay. Yep, I guess. But now, it could be the case that he has a handful of control magics actually, right? Because control magic doesn't do anything against the factories.
Control magic, counter spells, stuff like that. That would be actually good for Pencho for sure.
I mean, he doesn't have counterspell, I think, but like control magic could definitely be a card that he was sort of waiting on. And facing 2 factors now, sure, he does have a lot of removal spells in with Divine Offering shit. We're going to see one of them now,
right,
but
we're going to see the first one. Divine Offering.
because there's so many disenchanting Divine Offerings in for some reason, but still there's one more factory.
I guess he's not underestimating the factories.
No. He's on 10 life.
No, but I mean boarding in so much artifact hate.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Ooh,
Seems a little
drop it
bit
to 8.
dangerous against.
Exciting game here. And of course, you know, Pencho's still on 22.
And Pencho could easily have some removal in hand for potential big threats. He must have something, so there could be that.
Game number 5. Oof.
If Pencho had a little bit more of an aggro plan, let's say like just some bolts and side blasts or something in addition to that one fireball, this would be so exciting. Yeah. Now it looks like Rob is down to take it down, but you never know, right? It's not completely sure.
Absolutely. He's so slow. You just wish he just had, because he doesn't even have a Psionic Blast, right?
It would have, you mean Pencho? No, he just has the one fireball. And it might even have cut it, but I don't think so.
So that's another nice suggestion for the sideboard, to maybe put a little bit more burn in the sideboard.
I don't think so. I think this is more of an outlier kind of game where these things can happen, but you probably don't really want to discarding balance the hand size.
You wouldn't say in the sideboard put 2 Psionic Blasts, for example?
I mean, maybe not in Pencho's kind of deck because it's not really wants
There's
to do that.
Deck, or we're going to see a disenchant, right? This is big.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Counter.
Okay.
No.
Now I think he's casting Suchi now. But
I'm expecting counter magic here, right, from Rob?
no. I'm expecting control magic.
Ah, yeah, good point.
I'm very, very surprised if I'm not seeing a control magic here.
And if there's a control magic, then things are looking really good. And of course, Pencho tapped out, so no counter magic for him.
Right. Maybe there isn't though.
Just a
Oh,
disenchant.
okay.
Good old disenchant.
Uh-huh.
So we've seen 2 divine offerings, right, and 2 disenchants, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
And 3 swords to plowshares. So I mean, Pencho's also running out of creatures, right?
Yep.
Yeah, going through his graveyard, so perhaps he's got a regrowth.
He hasn't drawn any kind of power, right? So he has to regrowth creature. That's so sad.
Are we going to see a counterspell by Rob?
Pencho can't even cast it yet.
I mean, he could have also considered regrowthing a Mishra's Factory, right? Because then at least it cannot be countered.
And it cannot be control magic,
Exactly. So
which I continually talk about. And it could have been playing this turn. Yeah, maybe that would have been better actually.
oh,
For example, now
that
2
is
disenchants in
painful.
the Suchi.
Ay, 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 ay. And it's not surprising because Rob's drawing extra cards, so
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But this was a very good game for being a library game, I think.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of over, but it's not completely over. So we're gonna wait and see.
That's what we've been saying every game here.
Yeah. But it's nice in the final to have 5 games, by the way.
It is.
That is very enjoyable. And I think Rob has to be careful with the cards, that he doesn't show the cards.
This would have been more exciting if we had seen the cards, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, Chaos Orb hitting the board.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, if you're Pencho, you hope to resolve a balance which you know is going to be countered away, but that's it, right? Or just draw into a strip and at least strip the Loa, but you're so far behind already.
Yeah, I don't think that works out very well.
I mean, at least he's still on 21. I mean, that's the only thing he's got going for him. Rob on 8.
Yeah, I mean, he could draw Sylvan, I guess,
That
which is
reminds
very
me
good then.
of when you're looking at
Still.
the Grand Prix, right, on YouTube, the matches, they have the live bars they used to have. Do they still have that, actually?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that's a good point. It would be very far to Rob's side here.
Going for a demonic.
So
Would you just go for counterspell?
I guess. Or recall. Isn't really anything you can do. It's like what we say all the time, but still.
It feels then all of a sudden the game feels so slow, right? Because Pencho is top decking and just waiting for the few answers. And of course, Rob is taking his time because he's got so many options. He doesn't want to make a mistake because it's the final.
I don't think he will make any mistakes here. So, like, he has to make something really catastrophically bad.
Yeah, that's
in order for that to matter.
Very unlikely to happen. Very, very unlikely.
Yeah.
Ooh, time walk.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if it's me, Svante, but I only have these type of games that Rob's having when I play the third game after losing 2-0. You know?
Yeah.
And then my deck works,
It's just
and now my deck works. This is what I wanted to
just too
do.
bad, right? Yeah.
So you've
It's just
also
mine.
played Grand Prix. What kind of format did you play? Was it standard or
I used
modern?
to, no, I used to play everything.
Okay,
Like
just
I was a legacy player for a long time and played some legacy Grand Prix and so on. But I played basically like I play standard and stuff. Played all the formats, standard and modern and limited and legacy, basically before the new ones had existed. But yeah, these kind of things.
yeah, yeah. Funny, just like my brother, he plays every format as well.
I'm
But
very happy about not doing it anymore, so I
okay,
don't have to keep up with what comes out. I don't even play Legacy or Vintage anymore. Only play old school and the occasional pre-modern thing. But it was fun while it lasted. But I'm very happy about not having to care that much anymore. Actually,
yeah. Did it become kind of the focus was really on the results at a certain point, maybe?
yeah. Like the problem is that if you want to keep up with standard, for example, you have to read so many articles and see what happens every time because it changes every week and so on. So I realized in the end that I thought it was much more fun to just
By the way,
travel and meet
do you
people and
see what
have
I
good
see?
beer
Oh,
and
there's
so on.
sorry to interrupt,
Uh,
but you see what I see, right? There's
no,
the
no,
mana
it's
drain. Yeah.
mana drain the mind quests just to
Just to
nothing weird
clarify, I'm not
happens.
necessarily rooting for Pencho, but I'm always for the underdog. So I was hoping that this mind twist would
Yes, I
resolve,
agree. I agree.
right? Because maybe then people think that we favor one player over the other. That's not the case, of course.
No.
Oh, look at
And
this.
here comes the brain, guys.
Oh
No,
man.
but I think that I mean sometimes it's hard not to favor somebody if you are commentating on somebody's who's a friend, and so many people are. But I think that here we don't have any close connections to anybody, so it's fine. It's fine to
No,
be.
exactly. Yeah.
I think we're being quite what's the word, impartial here
Yeah,
in
neutral,
general
right?
with the matches. So
Yeah, and I think what some
I think
people,
so.
I mean, everybody here, I'm sure in the chat knows, but when you're commentating, of course, you want to have an opinion as well about the play, right? It's not to
Yeah,
criticize a player,
yeah.
but
But I mean here I haven't been cheering anybody on. Just think that it's a
no,
fun
no,
match
no.
and it's fun to root for the underdog a little bit or one who has sort of feels deserving it more depending on how the cards work and so on. So
There we see this recall by Rob, right?
oh yeah, he also discarded a city in a bottle, so he actually brought in that.
Yeah, yeah, I guess he did port out the Serendips then.
Yeah, but still, like it's his four cities and one library against four cities, a library, and two Urnams.
Yeah.
So maybe it cuts its library or cut a city as well, but I'm not sure. Like I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And this is way more over now than it used to be anyway. But
And that's like maybe that's some of the the most depressing things. An opponent with an active Loa getting back even more counter magic. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Recall is such a good finisher in this kind of things. It just makes everything over
Yeah. Now he's gonna take an extra
and time warp.
turn.
Yep.
There's the line as well, so he can attack for 8 if he animates the factory there.
Yeah.
So can half the life of Pencho. Yep, there they go.
That's it.
And then Pencho maybe has one more turn and a little bit more wine. I would open up a new bottle, Pencho.
Yeah.
There's the dust to dust. What do you think he's? Because there's only the Felwer Stone, right? So he's destroying maybe his own artifact here. Yeah, his own Mox.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah.
I guess
Just
he
because
wants to
why
be
not?
uber safe.
And he has a counter put up.
And it's true, someone says in the comments, at least Rob is playing fast. You're absolutely right. He's not like.
And it's just a matchup that's slow, right?
Yeah.
Because so many things just trade here and there.
Yeah, and
Marbles.
considering all the options, and I think Rob is tapping his Sarah, but I think just to show that he's attacking with it.
yeah. I mean, the thing is,
Going in
I'm
for
really
6.
bothered by people playing slowly, and I've not been bothered by this. So this is definitely nobody's playing anything slowly here.
No,
I'm really happy
absolutely.
about that.
Yay! And Pencho
Yeah.
ends it. And I guess we're
Yes,
gonna have
that's it.
a little after talk.
Yeah, so we unmute them, I guess, or they unmute us. So what do we do?
Yeah, we unmute them.
Yeah, what about like actually I enjoy these games very much, but let's unmute Timmy.
Unmute Timmy. Unmute Svante.
Unmute Svante.
There we are.
Hey man, what are you guys all playing with 4 Loas? Did you make that decision? Just put 4 Loas in the deck? Congratulations, by the way, Rob. Congratulations.
Guys.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
All games were just slow games. There were no fair games, and it's magic.
Yeah,
right?
it is what it is.
We don't play fair formats here, right?
We just play for the Loa. That's all we do.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening us, but we are talking about like these slow games are just broken, and I didn't enjoy one of these games because I was winning by Loa or Rob was winning by Loa, but there was no fair game.
I think the last game was actually exciting. The last game was very good for being a Loa game, actually.
The end of the last game was a bit boring for me because I was just basically watching myself dying. But
yeah, but like the early parts of the last game were very.
Rob. And cheers, guy.
Cheers, man. I think what I kind of liked about it was you had, I think, Rob, you started with the Loa game 1, then Pencho had the Loa game, then Pencho, you were mana starving, then Rob was mana starving. It's like you had a deal, like ping pong. And then
yeah.
So that was interesting.
My plan for the sideboard was fuck the mana base as hard as you could. So I took in like all the divine offerings, the dust to dust, the bottles. I wanted to use removal on all of your factories and just take all the mana away. That was the plan.
Did you cut some of yours, or did you keep all?
I was afraid of sitting bottle, and so when I didn't see it in 2 games after sideboarding, I just put the second rep and bought Erdnam Jins back in the main because I was like, okay, the guy is siding in all the divine offerings and dust to dust, and I'm going to have my beautiful Erdnam Jins killing opponent, but it didn't work.
I took the 4 dibs out, a Spirit Link and a Counterspell.
Counterspell, you put out Counterspell.
Just 1, yeah. And I went to 61 cards. I took in 2 Control Magics, the Recall, 2 Divine Offerings, Dust to Dust, and a Bottle. And in the very last game, I switched out one of the Control Magics for the last Divine Offering. So I had it at all times 2 to 3 Control Magics and like 8 artifact removal spells.
Yeah, in game 3, actually, I sided out my Erdnam because I was afraid of your Sitten bottles. And I know you are a fan of Sitten bottle because we had a discussion about it before. So I was afraid of it.
Pencho, he only has one, Pencho. He only has one. Counter it away.
Yeah.
Just counter it, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's kind of, when I looked at that sideboard drop, I was a bit surprised by the 1 bottle. You would think that if you go bottle, you maybe put 2 in the sideboard, or don't play bottle in your case. We were discussing it, right, Svante?
Yeah, because I mean, I know like Lauter plays 2 bottles, but he only plays 2 cities in the same way. So then when
Svante,
you cut the...
I don't hear Svante. I didn't unmute him.
Okay. Yeah, so like all... because when you cut the dibs and you still have your 4 cities, which makes bottle not so great. And I kind of like that. Your mana base is reasonable in the first place, but that makes bottle worse, right? So sort of a little bit surprised by you actually having bottle when you have 4 cities.
Yeah, and that's it. Like the bottle plan, so to speak, is take out the dibs and then bring in like control magic side lasts
Yeah.
and bottle. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like it can wreck my mana base, but the plan was wreck my opponent's mana base more, right?
Right.
So I thought, okay, he's got 4 brass and 1 ruby to cast those damn red blasts, and I have to take all of those out. So I'm going to put in all that artifact hate. So hit his mana base harder, basically, is what's the plan.
So that was the main reason to put all the artifact hate in. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and also, of course, Suchi's, right? I mean, I didn't expect Suchi to be in. I thought Pencho would take out Suchi for sure, but I was really shocked at the end. The last game, he played a Suchi, and like, whoa.
Oh, I was just switching basically between games. I was switching just Sukis and Earthnams, just my feelings. Like what when I saw Dust to Dust, I was like, okay, so put out Sukis, put back Earthnams. Let's bring more or one more blast and.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys, and of course, Rob, congratulations, man. How does it feel? The biggest
Congratulations.
online tournament, you've won it.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked, man. It was quite a battle and great opponent, Pencho, man. Right to the end there, game 5. He was saying in game 3 or 4, I think he's like, "I'm gonna win this game." I'm like, "Fuck," he did. But it was
Yeah,
fun.
well played there by both of you. Really impressive and well done in general.
Yeah, and actually, I made a mistake. You would have probably answered, but when I played Regrow on my Suki, I was thinking that I have a land in my hand.
Okay.
I was thinking, okay, I will play land and Suki directly, and then I check my hand. It's like, fuck, there is no land. There are 2 desertants. So
I wish you had the land there because I was hoping you were going to do that.
No, I would play Regrow on Mishra's Factory and try to clock you because you played so many offerings and design cards and sword to plowshares that it would make a sense. But I was so sure that I have the tropical island in my hand.
Yeah, I wish you did. I was holding mana drain. That's why when you said, okay, I'll target the Suchi, I'm like, yep, please play the Suchi. I've been holding Mind Twist for like many turns. I'm just waiting to unload, but I'm like, nope, be patient, be patient, be patient. Eventually cast it. And then you Mind Twisted me, so it gave me an opportunity.
Yeah, but that's the thing was winning the game, being patient with decks like we are playing.
Well, thank you guys. I'm going to stop the stream here, but feel free to stay in the room, of course. No worries. Thank you guys all for watching. And we're streaming again on Friday or Saturday from the World Cup Teams Unified in Groningen.
See you.
Thanks, guys. I'll stick around if anyone wants.